Hello, friends. This is Sam Chaney reporting for Weaponized News. Today's July 9th, 2026. Thank you for joining us on this Thursday edition of Weaponized News. Quite a bit of news to get to today. We're bombing the hell out of Iran. We have Ruckus on the line. So let me get through the hooks and we'll get to all this news for you. We were told by the Mockingbird media, by our government, that the Iranians hate the oppressive government of Iran. Old man Khomeini was just a tyrant everybody hated. There's millions of people showed up to mourn his loss at his, 5-day funeral procession here now. So apparently Iran put guns in millions of people's face and said, go cheer on and mourn the Supreme Leader Khomeini. Shocking, I know. We'll get to it. We got a bunch of videos of it. Did we or did we not? That is us, America, bomb Iran's nuclear power plant. It's looking like we did. We're looking for confirmation. And then we're back to the fog of war BS reports again. Apparently, there was a big bombing campaign on Iran a few hours ago, and the United States has not taken responsibility. No one has yet. So they're like, who bombed Iran? I don't know. We'll cover all of that. Just what a freaking disaster all of this is. I swear to God. What a disaster. Let's pray for peace. It gets worse by the second here. We're going to cover all that. It was a great success for America at NATO. The military-industrial complex got giant contracts, and we're 39 trillion plus in debt. Who cares? We can kill a bunch of Russians. It's just, what? It's truly amazing. Is Mitch McConnell alive, dead? Doesn't even matter. As long as he votes for war, more war, right? Sure. We'll take a look at that. We have more Epstein news, a lot of economic news. Just legion. Trump's corruption is legion now. And I guess MAGA loves it. So you're going to have fun when the next corrupt Democrat comes in. And their corruption's even more legion. All your cries at that point, Republicans, MAGA, will fall on deaf ears here. You see how this works. Bunch of geopolitical news. Russia's really pissed off. Essentially, Trump declared war on Russia. They're at NATO. We'll take a look at that. As Russia said, if you, America, go ahead and give Ukraine long-range strike capability into Russia, we're going to take that as you, America, are doing long-range strikes into Russia. Therefore, we're in a war with you. We're like this freaking close. We're that paper thin close to direct war with Russia. Kind of a big deal? It's good for the economy. We'll take a look at Department of War posting. I'm old enough to remember, if you talked about direct energy weapons, they said, put on your tinfoil hat. You're a crazy person. You're a conspiracy theorist. All this bullshit. Now, post after post after post, the Department of War is bragging about directed energy dominance. We'll cover some of that. And then the demolition of Lebanon and Gaza continues. The genocide, demolition, war crimes, it never ends. It's every single day. We'll cover all that and much more on this Thursday edition of Weaponized News. Thank you for joining us. I see quite a few people have jumped in there. Shout out to the chats. Appreciate you guys joining us. All right, let's get to this day in history. We'll bring on Ruckus and get to all of this wonderful news for you on this Thursday. On this day of July 9th, we go back to the year 1401, quite a massacre in Baghdad. Turco-Mongol ruler Timur destroys Baghdad, killing 20,000 people. I thought it was 200 for, I guess I just looked to, but still 20,000, quite a bit dead there on this day in 1401. Then we move forward through history to 1776. On this day, the United States Declaration of Independence is read to George Washington's troops in New York. 1779 on this day, James Swan pays off the $2,024,899 U.S. national debt. 1816 on this day, Argentina declares its independence from Spain. Now aardvarks took it over, and so we do appreciate those efforts in Argentina as part of building out the Greater North America Project. On this day in 1893, we saw the first open heart surgery. Surgeon Daniel Hale Williams performs the first successful open heart surgery when he repairs a torn pectocardium of knife-wounded patient James Cornish without the use of penicillin or blood transfusion. Wow, that was a pretty good surgery, I would say, in 1893, and dude actually lived. On this day in 1918, we saw the worst U.S. train wreck. 101 people, Americans killed, 171 injured in the worst train wreck in U.S. history in Nashville, Tennessee. 1944, on this day in World War II was raging. U.S. troops secure Saipan as Japan falls. 1944 on this day. 1951 on this day. Took them long enough, but we got around to ending World War II. Then U.S. President Harry Truman in 1951 asked Congress to formally end a state of war with Germany. And they got around to it, maybe not. On this day in 1955, and I'm noticing now, I know noticing is a bad thing, but I'm noticing part of this whole thermonuclear war, we're going to nuke the world and all this thermonuclear holocaust propaganda, it's really starting to look like a giant psyop. And I believe a big part of it was this event in 1955. The Russell-Einstein Manifesto is released by Bertrand Russell in London on the need to avoid nuclear war. You don't say. On this day, 1971. On this day in 1971, what a traitor! Just, this guy he makes my skin crawl. It makes me angry at the same time. Henry Kissinger. I know he's a great peacenik and won the Nobel Peace Prize, but he's a mass murderer and a traitor to this country, actually, working for a one world government agenda, obviously. On this day in 1971, National Security Advisor Henry Kissinger secretly visits the People's Republic of China to negotiate a detente between the United States and China. Sure, he went there for that. And on this day in 1987, did he ever get in trouble? I don't think dude ever even got in trouble. Oliver North. I don't think he ever even got in trouble, did he? Oliver North on this day in 1987 admits to shredding Iran Contra evidence. I don't think dude ever got in trouble. Just crime after crime after crime after crime. They're like, he's a great American. On this day in our civil liberties history, in the year 2008, FISA Extension Act expands government surveillance powers. The 2008 Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, FISA Expansion Act, passed by Congress on this day and signed into law by then President George W. Bush, expanding the government's powers of surveillance under the FISA Act of October 25th, 1978. FISA was originally passed to regulate government surveillance in the area of national security, but civil libertarians argued that it was essentially ineffective in preventing illegal surveillance. The 2008 amendments prohibited states from investigating telecommunications companies for alleged complicity with NSA surveillance activities, allowed the government not to keep records of searches and to destroy documents, granted telecommunications companies legal immunity for cooperating with the government, and increased the time limit for warrantless surveillance from 48 hours to 7 days. Critics of the NSA surveillance argue that the 2008 amendment helped to facilitate and certainly did not effectively control the abuses of NSA spying that were exposed by documents leaked by Edward Snowden on June 5th, 2013. Some critics, however, argue that the Snowden documents indicated that NSA spying was already far more extensive than anyone realized, including more extensive than the revelations published by the New York Times on December 16th, 2005. Congress passed an intelligence reform law on June 2nd, 2015 that for the first time scaled back the government's intelligence gathering powers. The new law prohibited the government from storing bulk data about the communications of Americans. Private communications companies store the data, and the government can only obtain specific records with a warrant from the FISA court. Now they just buy it, right? We've seen reports FBI is buying your private data from these surveillance companies. And so they just work around whatever law it is as if they care about the law. And they scream law and order in your face all day. The government's organized crime syndicate, as we keep reiterating on this show. Private communication companies store the data, and the government can only obtain specific records with a warrant from the FISA court, allegedly. Also, the law directed the NSA to declassify certain important decisions, adding a new degree of transparency to the FISA court. Finally, private individuals will be able to appear before the FISA court in particular cases and argue in favor of greater privacy protections. And on this day in 2014, in our civil liberties history, NSA spied on Muslim Americans. According to the National Security Agency documents that Edward Snowden stole from the NSA and released to selected journalists, the agency spied on Muslim Americans. Targets of the spying include Faisal Gill, a Republican Party political figure who once worked in the administration of George W. Bush and held top secret security clearance. Asim Ghafoor, an attorney who had represented clients in terrorism-related cases, and Nihad Anwad, executive director of the Council on American Islamic Relations. An NSA spreadsheet listed 7,485 email addresses that had been monitored between 2002 and 2008. And you could say, that's fine, get all those dirty Muslim, Al-Qaeda, terrorists, all this, but they're going to use it on you too, as the problem here. I know it's hard for the American mind to wrap their two brain cells they have left together around this, but you can hate Muslims as much as you want. They're going to use all this, and they are using all this against you and I, using Muslims as a scapegoat in the war on terror in this case. And here's our segue to bring on Ruckus and get to the news for you. It's literally professional wrestling. They're telling you. Here's Bobby Kennedy Jr. promoting kids' fitness, which I do support, but they're literally telling you it's professional wrestling here now.
GetActive.gov/kids. And let's make America healthy again.
Yeah. It's literally professional wrestling. Dude can't even barely talk. Ruckus, how you doing on this Thursday?
Well, I am, doing. How are you doing, Sam?
I'm doing well. I like your hat there.
Thank
Your
you.
black hat. You're one of the bad guys. I thought we got rid of the black hats. The Patriots are in control, Ruckus. What happened?
This is a new addition to the Ruckus arsenal. This is something I'll be using in my new series that I'm working on, the Ruckus Files, so you guys get a little sneak peek. Trying to do that classic, like, film noir private detective kind of look, you know. The shirt doesn't match. I have a special shirt that I'm also sitting on just for this occasion. But yes, busted out the hat today just because I ran out of hair gel. So, you know.
Because you're one of the black hats now exposed on Weaponized News. Ruckus is a black hat.
That's right. Anyways, but yeah, thought it was time for a change of scenery behind me too. So I hope everybody enjoys.
Nice. We have Patriot games coming up here to announce. So
yes, that's why I got the luggage, because I'm packing up all my shit and I'm out of here. This is getting too much for me. Just kidding.
10 million or 100 million, $100 million bounty on Trump's head. Here's the banner there in Iran. It says, kill Trump, we pay $100 million.
What if you just show up at the White House press dinner and just run around the lobby with like a stick or something? Does that count?
The cops will shoot you and you'll get nothing.
It'll be reported as an attempted, right? I mean, sure, is there anything for attempting?
Yeah, it has to be. You have to seal the deal.
Gotcha.
So we were told all the way running up to this whole war, everybody in Iran hates the oppressive dictatorship of the supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, and the rest of the mullah crew. I don't know, his funeral procession, I guess their claim now is Iran's pointing guns at all these people and saying, go mourn your supreme leader. We have a bunch of footage right here. They're wrapping up I think it was a 5-day funeral procession. They marched them around Iran and through Iraq, and now they're back in Iran to wrap it up. Here's some of those crowds earlier today, or it was nighttime there. Oh, by the way, they're chanting. All those people are chanting "Death to America" in unison. I guess the government made them do that, Ruckus.
Right. It's By the way, Khamenei. The way everybody says it is like the other guy, the one before him was Khomeini. So it's a little slightly different pronunciation. And you may hear people in Iran, it's more of a Khamenei. So when you hear them talking about Khamenei, that's who they're talking about, this guy. But yeah, that's the one. And the son has not showed up yet, apparently, allegedly. You know, the one who's allegedly gay and disfigured and probably dead, according to Trump.
He's laying low. I saw reports that he's being advised to lay low. They may try to whack him at the funeral, and so he's laying low now. I don't know. Millions of Iranians chant, "We are followers of the Imam, and we seek revenge." So you pissed off all these religious fanatics. Good job there, America and Trump. And Ruckus, they're claiming all these, Iran is saying these red flags right here are the red flag of vengeance now we've unleashed. So good job. We got tens of millions of radical Muslims there in Iran, all pissed off. So great job there. It doesn't look like they're going to overthrow the Iranian government anytime soon.
No, but they might overthrow ours, right? I mean, so my friend and colleague Patrick Henningsen, who does the Sunday Wire and runs the website, of course, 21stcenturywire.com, he's on the ground reporting. He's still out there So we're all praying for him that he stays safe. But yeah, he has confirmed about the red flags and the message and what that means. He's confirmed a lot of other chants and things that have been going on there. And yeah, there's, let's just say, I don't think he's been able to find anybody who is like, man, God bless America, out in Iran anyways. I don't see, and he's also not yet found.
We were told by
anybody that I'm
Trump they
aware of.
love being bombed.
That's the other thing. I can't find anyone saying that they like to be bombed and or that they hate the former leader, the slain Khamenei, and that they're just showing up to do the thing at the funeral because they're forced at gunpoint or something like that, right? So yeah, maybe they all get paid money or something to show up there. Who knows? Maybe they were bussed in by George Soros. Did anyone consider that?
U.S. Central Command on the strikes yesterday. They're striking right now. They're striking right now. U.S. Central Command said U.S. forces complete another round of strikes against Iran. This is from yesterday. U.S. CENTCOM forces completed an additional round of strikes against Iran yesterday, July 8th, to further degrade Iran's ability to attack commercial shipping and innocent civilian mariners in the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. forces struck approximately 90 Iranian military targets, including air defense systems, coastal surveillance assets, missile and drone storage sites, naval capabilities, and military logistics infrastructure along Iran's coastline. The latest strikes follow successful execution of offensive strikes in Iran the night before. CENTCOM forces hit approximately 80 Iranian military targets 2 days ago, July 7th, including more than 60 Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps small boats to impose heavy costs for Iran violating the ceasefire by attacking 3 commercial vessels navigating the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. forces remain vigilant, lethal, and prepared to execute operations directed by the commander-in-chief. And they even put out a little video. And there's reports that we bombed their nuclear power station. So that's a very swift escalation, you could say. Here's a video from U.S. Central Command of blowing up a bunch of Iran. America 250. Don't F with us, Iran, or this is what you get. And who even knows, right? I mean, really, this could be out in the back studio of friggin' WWE for all we know. You know what I mean? We're taking the lying criminal government's word that these strikes were accurate and hit all that stuff they claim. But we've won the war like 40 times and taken out their entire military, Air Force and Navy multiple times, according to Trump. But yet we're still attacking their Air Force and Navy, Ruckus.
I would like to compare that footage with something from a Call of Duty game released in the last 5 years. I bet you'd be having trouble distinguishing between the two. Just saying.
Look, this ain't the flex you think it is, bro. U.S. Central Command posts this. That's a nice photo and all. A U.S. Air Force F-16 fighter jet takes off from a base in the Middle East. Why the F are we even there, man? I mean, seriously, that's a cool photo, but that ain't the flex they think it is.
Well, nothing that they do is a flex that they think it is, Sam, in my book.
I'm telling you, man. Iranian missiles hit U.S. base in Jordan as IRGC continues retaliatory operations. Jordan military forces announced earlier today that the interception of several Iranian projectiles coinciding with continued U.S. attacks on Iran and new rounds of retaliatory strikes by Tehran against Washington's assets in Jordan. Air defense systems, Jordan says they intercepted 8 missiles launched from Iran. Iranian ballistic missiles were launched at American base there in Jordan. So they're claiming they hit and caused some damage there. But of course, U.S. says, oh, nothing, we've never been hit. Nothing bad has ever happened. So I guess we take U.S. Central Command's word. The IRGC says it struck U.S. Command Center in West Asia and as Iraq Air Base in Jordan with 10 ballistic missiles. So, but they're fact checked. So we're bringing back the old, we have that. I think we have that later in the show, but it's good to see U.S. Central Command is fact checking reports on the military attacks and hits.
And their fact checks are getting the community notes on X. So it's like, what the heck is going on, right? And Wikipedia is just sitting on the side eating popcorn, right?
You can't even make this stuff up. Aardvark Land says war not over.
Wait, who says that?
Aardvark Land.
No.
They say Shadow President of America, Millet, said that war with Iran is not over. War Minister Katz said Aardvark Land is prepared to strike again with even greater force if it deems it necessary. Netanyahu said Aardvark Land will continue preventing Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon with or without an agreement, and vowed to keep Aardvark Land forces in Lebanon as long as the need requires. War Secretary Katz said the Aardvark Land military is prepared to resume fighting to regain air superiority and strike Iran again, including a third time if necessary, adding the campaign is not over.
At least their words are matching their deeds finally, right?
They're not striking right now. They're leaving it up to us to strike Iran. They have not stricken Iran, according to all the reporting here now. Iran's health ministry says U.S. strikes in the past 2 days have killed 14 Iranians and wounded 78. So we got to whack a whole bunch more Iranians. Like only 14. You know what I mean? And how much is this? We got to do the math again at some point. How much does it cost to kill an Iranian? It cost $33 million to kill one Iranian in the last round. It's gonna. I think the price tag is going up here now.
It might be getting cheaper. I mean, technology.
No, it's going up. We shall see. We'll do the calculation here probably next week. According to Aardvark Land media operative and Axios propagandist Barak Ravid, a U.S. official said the current escalation against Iran could last anywhere from a day to 2 days to a week or even a month.
Do I hear a year? Anyone? A year?
Or just forever? We've always been at war with Iran. You didn't know that? We have. A la 1984. So, yeah.
You're not just whistling Dixie either. I was listening to an old news report from 1976 as part of a project I was working on, and there was a news report about Palestinian gunmen and terrorists and the negotiation about a peace deal that was falling apart. And the same players and names, so they were like, they dropped Syria. I'm like, dude, what year is this? It was from 50 years ago, this news report. I was like, you could have swore they were talking about something that happened today. It was wild. Sorry.
Just like 1984, we've never been at war with Iran. We've always been at war with Iran. There you go.
They're a fairly new country like us, right? They haven't been around very long, right?
They built their country around our military bases, and so that's the main sticking point and the point of contention here now, Ruckus.
That'll teach them.
Apparently, Iran is saying we bombed their nuclear power plant, Bitchute nuclear power plant. I have not seen confirmation from America yet, but the report says, and I've seen it a couple places. It's hard to find. First, it came out of the Daily Mail. I'm not trusting the Daily Mail. I did more searching. And again, we don't have confirmation from America, but Iranian officials accuse U.S. of launching an airstrike near Bashar nuclear power plant. On Thursday, Iranian officials claimed American forces targeted Bashar nuclear power plant located 1,200 kilometers from Tehran, though Washington has not acknowledged the strikes yet. They're showing their nuclear power plant get bombed. Would they false flag their own nuclear power plant? Remember, Putin blew up his own pipelines. So, I mean, it's not out of the question, right?
Putin didn't blow. Oh, wait. Yeah. All right. Well, right. Yeah, this does remind me of the back and forth that was going on with the Ukraine and Russia conflict, where each one was accusing the other, like, "Oh, that was too close to our power plant," and then the nuclear power plant people would come out. What's the name of that organization? The IA, whatever. It's one of those things, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is dangerous. What are you doing? Stop."
The IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency. Yeah.
Yeah, whoever they are. Yeah. I didn't vote for them.
Foreign Minister Argachai warned that radioactive fallout will end life in all of the GCC capitals, not Tehran, as Iran claims the U.S. military has targeted the plant 5 times this year. I don't know. We can't trust lying terrorist Iranians, but wowzers. Here's some a far off video of it. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be too close either. That's alleged video of hitting that nuclear power plant in Iran. And it's being reported
Could
massive.
be AI.
It came off. There's reports the power went out. I don't know. Iran maybe bombed themselves and turned off everybody's power to blame America, even though we're doing massive bombing campaigns against them.
I'm going to do that the next time my power goes out. Blame America.
Well, you live in America.
So I'm correct. See?
Yeah, you would be correct. Okay, here's the big success at NATO summit, which was essentially just a arms summit bazaar selling weapons. And let's see the wrap up here. I believe this is on the War Channel, Fox News. Here's one wrap up, and then we'll read the readout from the White House.
It was a huge success, because of President Trump's leadership. We have seen over the last year since the Hague summit, where we all agreed to 5% of GDP on defense spending, a fundamental shift in NATO and the unity in the room, and the fact that allies have invested about 150.
All psychopaths, they should all be in prison for the good of society. All of these people, seriously.
$50 billion in the last year since they made that commitment in defense, plus another $50 billion in new procurements, all from the United States, that benefits the U.S. defense industry, supports U.S. jobs. This was a great...
He's saying how great it is. Fox News throws up, well, all the military industrial complex stocks are down. I don't know.
Great vibe, as you would say, in the room and surrounding the NATO summit. The defense industry showed up and our allies showed up. And, President Trump has every reason to take this victory because it's due to his leadership.
What?
Who was the dude in the middle with the gold tie looking around like he was confused?
At the summit? That was Trump.
Yeah. Oh. It's hard to see on my little teleprompter screen here.
That was Trump. Fact sheet from the White House about the NATO meeting. They admit right here it was $3 billion in major deals and joint ventures were announced at the NATO summit that will expand the arsenal of freedom. Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, another Lockheed Martin, RTX, and the Department of War. Germany and Netherlands will buy Raytheon Stinger missiles. Boeing and Rheinmetall out of Italy will explore a partnership opportunity to expand production of Boeing's small diameter bomb for Europe. It's just like Anduril will commit to provide Poland with Barracuda 500 missiles. So what a great success. They get a bunch of big guns to kill a bunch of more people. What a great success. I mean, it's just, God, these people are sick.
Kind of jealous. I mean, those Barracudas are one thing, but those Raytheons, those are really nice. They make great parting gifts if you're hosting a function. Totally, yeah, it's good stuff.
They're arming up. They want Russia to make a move. Russia may very well make a move on Europe here now. Russia is getting pissed. We'll get to that. You spent some time in New Mexico, didn't you, Ruckus?
You can say that, yes. I lived there from 1994 until about 3 years ago.
Here's a report. Here's a report I'm going to share that was shared by viewer Carrie about New Mexico. They literally set. Well, listen to the report. Oh, trying to line it up here. Here we go. So they did a controlled burn in New Mexico. It got out of control. Here's the report via listener Carrie.
The largest and most destructive wildfire in the history of New Mexico, destroying thousands of homes started by a prescribed burn.
There's not enough money the Forest Service or FEMA can give to me to compensate me for that big loss, because there's a lot of memories that got lost in there.
FEMA providing more than $3.51 billion to survivors affected by the Hermit's Peak Canyon fire 4 years later.
When I read that FEMA agrees to pay $3.5 billion, I'm offended. Let there be no mistake about it. They were charged with paying and distributing $5.3 billion to the people who were the victims of the federal government's negligence.
Memories lost. Hundreds of families left picking the pieces.
People lost their heritage, family homes that have been handed down from generation to generation.
Attorney Brian Colon representing hundreds of victims hit hard by the fire and floods.
The federal judge has agreed with our position that these victims deserve to be fully compensated. Sadly, instead of following the judge's orders, FEMA has continued to delay and appeal those decisions to the 10th Circuit. Because of FEMA's obstinance, their failure to recognize New Mexico law, I've had to litigate this case for years. It's inexcusable that anybody would allow a team of individuals whose job it is to do this work for them to take a victory lap when so many people are still hurting.
Colon telling us he will continue the fight.
Until the last victim has been compensated, I've not done my job, and I'm not going anywhere.
Dude, what's up with that reporter woman? Like she had a stuffed nose. But wow.
I'm familiar with the news station there, but I didn't recognize her voice at all. So she must be new, or it really sounded like somebody was disguising their voice. I hate to say it. It's very weird.
So all those victims, we should just put them in FEMA camps, right?
Well, I mean, obviously, that's a given. I think they're working on that, yeah.
Is Cocaine Mitch Turtle Man alive? Huh? What do you think, Ruckus?
Me? I'm pretty sure you know what I think. I don't think he's around anymore.
Esquire put out this article today. They say, is Mitch McConnell even alive? If so, where the hell is he? And does it even matter? Should he be allowed? If he's dead, as long as he votes for more war, then his vote should count, right?
Yeah, exactly. Does it really matter? Like you say, as long as he's voting for more war, whether he's alive or dead, we can do these things, right? Yeah. What state is he from again?
He's from Kentucky.
Oh, is there anyone else who's from Kentucky that we know who's been in the news lately?
Massey.
Oh, that's weird.
It is weird. So is and why is he throwing up Illuminati hand signs when he was in a wheelchair and looking in bad shape? I guess that's just how he poses his hands, right?
He's throwing a signal. He's saying there's zero chance that he's coming back. See, that's not the. It's just the zero.
The damn Bongino zero. Okay, so digging through all this, trying to find somebody. These who's it? Scott Jennings, some Republican talking head on the cable news, says he talked to him, and some other Republican shill say they talked to him. No evidence of the conversation. Just we got to take their lying criminal word for it. Anyway, the best I could see here is local reporter. There was a Ken Klippenstein wrote a big article about it, trying to figure out if Mitch McConnell's alive or dead. And then you get to the very bottom of the article, and he references a local reporter, Al Cross, there in Kentucky, that has spent his career covering Mitch McConnell's duties as a senator and his duties as a politician. Anyway, Al Cross, a longtime Kentucky political journalist and journalism professor, has spent decades covering Mitch McConnell, says he's been in touch with him in recent weeks and attributed his silence to his pride. And so that's why, according to Al Cross here, a guy who's supposed to know these things, you haven't heard anything because of Mitch McConnell's pride about his health condition. Well, I do appreciate health privacy, but I remember during the bad times, all of them marched up on TV and said, look at us taking this medicine and trying to pressure everybody to do it, right? You can't have it both ways, especially when you're a public figure, a top Republican there in the Senate.
And you can't fool me, mister. I know what the good book says. It says pride cometh before the fall, not the other way around. It's not the fall cometh before the pride. See, because he fell down and hurt himself. The one guy from Wyoming, I believe it was, said that he was one of the first ones quoted in the newspapers or whatever as allegedly having spoken via phone to Mr. Mitch McConnell for 20 minutes. 20 minutes.
There was two Republican shills that both said basically the same thing. We talked to them 20 minutes and everything's cool. And it's like, really?
What the F do you talk to Mitch McConnell about for 20 minutes? Well, I guess as slow as that guy is, that might take him 20 minutes just to get one sentence out. So maybe they did talk to him, Sam.
Cross, speaking in an interview with CNN, said, I suspect his reluctance to say very much about his condition stems partly from his pride.
Ridiculous.
And that guy Jennings on the CNN panel said he's a person who has a lot of pride, justifiably so. He's proud to be a corrupt piece of garbage that's parasited off the American taxpayers his entire life and married to a Chinese spy. Something to be very proud about, you know?
Well, I mean, if you want anyone in this story who should be very proud, it's that local journalist, Alan Cross. What was his name?
Al Cross, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he's spent decades covering Mitch McConnell. What an exciting career. I'm jealous as AF, man. Wow.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, he's not been seen. Mitch McConnell, 84 years old, has not been seen since June 14th. We're going on
of this year, or are we talking last year?
4 years ago. No, this year. June 14th, 2026. No one's seen him. And reports of phone calls. They could, with all the technology, it could be a freaking AI. These guys could just be straight up lying. We have no idea. We need proof of life, and you can't just phone in the vote to fund $1.5 trillion of more war funding and the big NDAA that's going to merge us up with Aardvark land and all this. Important big stuff is coming down the pipe here. And you can't just phone it in and say, yeah, you know, Weekend at Bernie Mitch, he's always a go for that. You know what I mean? It's like,
Sam, they're just going to roll out the dude in the rubber mask. Come on now.
No, that may very well happen. One of these stories was talking about there are deadlines coming up here now. I don't have the details. I lost it now. One of these stories I was reading about it. There are deadlines coming up that I guess we're going to learn one way or another, or they may try some shenanigans. A guy wearing a mask, a drone, a clone, a robot. Who knows?
Deadlines for like votes and stuff.
Yeah. In Kentucky, in his state. Yeah, not just as his federal Senate job. He has politics to keep his job actually. As well, I believe I want to say off the top of my head, August 4th is a big deadline in Kentucky state politics. Anyway, we're going to keep following it, and we hope that Turtle Man with his spy wife and everything is wonderful there. But it just goes to show you the disdain the government has for the public. They just lie. They don't care. And you're like, bro, that's my representative. They're like, whatever, dude. We just killed a bunch of kids. You should be happy. Okay. So here's moving on. We'll keep following Mitch McConnell. As of now, we just don't know if he's alive or dead, tragically enough. Here is Nancy Mace posted about MK Ultra. She was at the MK Ultra hearing. Let's watch this video. She talks about in this clip, in a federal prison in Kentucky, inmates were fed double, triple, and quadruple doses of LSD every day for 77 days as part of MK Ultra. Let's watch this clip.
Then another stunning moment in an exchange with South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace.
Did they all survive?
We have no idea.
A Cold War CIA program that explored mind control, LSD experiments, and human behavior modification back under the microscope today as lawmakers say newly declassified documents could shed light on MK Ultra.
Project MK Ultra was not a policy failure or an overzealous program that got out of hand. It was a deliberate, systematic governmental operation that subjected American citizens, prisoners, hospital patients, veterans, ordinary people to LSD, electroshock, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, psychological torture without their knowledge or consent.
Our chief Washington correspondent, Mike Emanuel, has the story for us. Hello, Mike.
Hi, Sandra. Yeah, an expert from Brown University described MK Ultra for lawmakers in really shocking terms.
Ultra conducted the most extreme experiments on human beings that have ever been carried out by a U.S. government agency. By any standard, they qualify as medical torture.
Lawmakers hearing from some experts about a controversial Cold War era CIA program, fearing the Soviets and Chinese brainwashing techniques. The agency worked on its own methods. An investigative journalist testified about his research into an influential psychiatrist of that era.
West described administering LSD and other drugs in conjunction with hypnosis on unwitting human subjects, and then he made a remarkable claim. He announced that he had learned how to replace true memories with false memories in people without their knowledge.
Then another stunning moment in an exchange with South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace.
I'll talk about one in particular that always sticks in my mind. In the federal prison in Lexington, Kentucky, a group of African-American inmates was segregated and fed what were described in the protocol as double, triple, and quadruple doses of LSD every day for 77 days.
Did they all survive?
We have no idea what happened to them.
Among the questions being asked by Chairwoman Anna Paulina Luna, why MK Ultra's records remained classified decades after it ended. Sandra?
Okay, Mike Emanuel live there in Washington.
So we just vote Republican in November. We'll take care of all this, right, Ruckus?
That didn't work so well last time, Sam. I don't know if you're paying attention. I am. Wild stuff there. The MK Ultra thing, right? Yeah.
More supposed to come in these hearings.
I'm not going to hold my breath.
But reportedly, they shredded a bunch of the documents as per usual. So the actual source original evidence is no longer available. Thank you to government shredding operations. On to but hey, there's a bunch of victims out there, and Emma Catherine interviews a bunch of them. And so they should actually bring up the victims that are still alive and have them testify instead of these authors and journalists that wrote about it. Bring in the actual victims. There's a bunch of them. They can still. Go ahead.
I was going to say, did you notice a little trend there in that reporting about the origins of MKUltra and why that guy did that experiment? What was the impetus? What was the motivation? Why did they do it?
Because the damn Chinese and you damn dirty commie Russians are doing it, so we got to beat them at it. It's the same routine, same excuse. It's just the same. They're doing a bunch of evil, so we got to one up them on the evil, obviously, Ruckus.
I know, isn't that weird? History doesn't necessarily repeat, but it sure does rhyme, right?
We're back in the same place. Like you're saying, we're in this loop, right? We're in the loop. You're watching news reports from 50 years ago about Aardvark land massacring people and stealing their land and the damn Iranian terrorists. And it's just, we're on a loop here now. It's the same thing today as 50 years ago, sadly enough.
Well, there's always a slight chance one day the cycle could get broken, but that's probably going to be a rough ride, and hold on to your butts.
Did CERN really turn off?
It sure did. It's coming back on 2030. Oh, my God.
Epstein victims say Connecticut resident Leslie Groff lied to Congress. Of course she did. Victims of Jeffrey Epstein have said the disgraced financiers, I love how they always call him a financier, former assistant Leslie Groff, a Connecticut resident, lied during testimony before Congress last month. CNN reported Groff testified to lawmakers that she did not know about Epstein's sex trafficking operation. Instead, she insisted she never witnessed abuse and never knowingly scheduled appointments for minors and was unaware of his crimes.
And she was his assistant?
Yeah, for like 20 years.
A terrible assistant then, I'm just saying.
For almost 20 years, 18 years. Groff was his personal assistant for 18 years. And she knew nothing about any of this.
She's either lying or she's the dumbest person I think I've ever heard in my life. This is crazy.
And there's multiple references of Epstein calling her his brain, and he couldn't do anything without her, but she knew nothing about any of the wrongdoings.
Okay, maybe she's a victim of MKUltra, Sam.
Maybe. Yeah? I believe so. And when you look deeper into these cases of extreme abuse, you find out the abusers in many cases are also the victims because they're part of this vicious cycle of trauma-based, fear-based mind control. They're under the mind control, a la MKUltra style trauma-based mind control. I'd say that's a very high possibility, Ruckus, that she's also a victim of mind control.
Well, there's also a possibility so is Mitch McConnell.
That as well. You see, he's had what, 4, 5, 6 public glitches like that. See, he's had glitches where he's out there giving a speech and just like freezes up. Like, is that the mind control programming breaking? Are you having a seizure, a stroke? Like, what is going on? But we see it multiple times in politicians and celebrities where they have this short out glitch thing going on in public. And it's like, looks like some type of tick from all of this mind control programming.
Or it could just be a stroke from the GB jabs. You never know.
Could be a miracle. Could be a miracle. Bobby Kennedy Jr. with WWE and the belt.
Chugging his little blue drink. What's in that thing anyways? Glyphosate? Or
it's the what is it? I can't even remember the scientific name. It's antifreeze because
that's
antifreeze
or something.
antifreeze. What is it? Polyurethane glycol. I forget the scientific name, but an ingredient in glyphosate, and I mean in antifreeze. So it's very healthy because we put it in our miracles, obviously. Moving on here, New Mexico. Shocking. Didn't we see a report? Oh, it was also out of New Mexico. So the feds, they just basically tell New Mexico, F you. New Mexico Attorney General says DOJ is withholding critical information related to Epstein Zorro Ranch investigation. The DOJ's covering it up. New Mexico Attorney General Raul Torres is accusing the U.S. Justice Department of withholding access to unredacted files related to the late convicted sex offender. I'm glad they didn't call him a financier here in the CNN article. Jeffrey Epstein, arguing that the lack of cooperation is preventing the state from bringing justice to survivors. He said earlier today to CNN, every day the U.S. Department of Justice withholds these records, the foundation upon which a New Mexico prosecution could be built erodes. Torres wrote in a scathing letter to acting U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche on June 30th that was publicly released today. Witnesses relocate and become unreachable. Memories already strained by years of trauma fade further. Physical and documentary evidence degrades or is lost and is rendered more difficult to authenticate with the passage of time, Torres iterated in his letter to the Department of Justice. They know damn well all of this. Allegedly, they're professionals. So now we've got the feds not paying the victims of the fire they caused in New Mexico. Who knows what they probably just stole the FEMA disaster relief money. Now, New Mexico Attorney General says the Department of Justice is actively covering up evidence and suppressing its state investigation into Epstein's Zorro Ranch located in New Mexico. What would we do without the federal government, Ruckus?
Oh, man. A man can dream, Sam. What couldn't we do? Huh? I like to look at it that way, right? We could probably hunt without getting permission. That'd be interesting.
New Mexico accuses DOJ of obstructing Epstein Ranch inquiry. They're literally covering it up right now. A report out of Politico earlier today. This is just the beginning. 1 year in, there's no end in sight for Congress Epstein probe. The House Oversight Committee's Jeffrey Epstein investigation will hit the 1 year mark later this month, and the saga isn't ending anytime soon, as Democrats vow to dig deeper. And this is just the beginning. Melanie Stansbury, Congresswoman out of New Mexico, said, she's on the House Democrat Oversight Committee. She said, I believe this is the administration's Watergate. I think it's clear that they are complicit in covering up crimes and shielding the president from accountability and evading the law. And so I like to see all of them in front of a committee under oath. Well, does it even matter? They can lie to Congress, right?
Didn't that other lady do that? The assistant?
Yeah. Well, according to it, by all accounts, I mean, the victims say she's lying. 18 years as his personal assistant. His own comment saying that she was the brains of the operation, or his second brain, something like that. Yeah.
That's for the other lady from New Mexico, or about the Zorro Ranch thing. Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah. She said the word saga. It's in the description of this, and I'm like that. That's kind of telling when they use these types of language to describe these things are dramas, they're sagas, they're all drawn, and it's like, how much of this is real? Is there going to be any justice? Is this just like what we saw, the phenomenon that was built upon the back of the O.J. Simpson trial, which created cable news networks, basically. You know what I mean? Court TV kind of drama crap. Drama, the saga. Sorry, my soap's on today. I can't miss my story, or whatever they call them, right?
It's becoming that political theater, the House Oversight Committee, a bunch of dirt comes out, no action, no one ever gets in trouble.
Yeah, so what's the point? Yeah, it's like in watching a TV show. Yeah,
kind of is, sadly enough here now. That's what it's become. All right, we're at the hour mark, Ruckus. Let's take our live commercial break. Give us that like, share, subscribe, push that notification button. Smash the like button. Like. It helps us in the algorithms. Give us that like, share, subscribe. All of that is free. Push the notification button. Go to weaponizednews.com/shop and get yourself a holograph sticker, a white background sticker, and a clear sticker. We got the stickers, coffee mugs, t-shirts, baseball caps, shot glasses. Go to weaponizednews.com/shop. The link's in the description below this video. We take donations as well. Buy me a coffee, Bitcoin wallet address, Cash App. Links in the description below this video. Help support independent reporting and analysis brought to you 5 days a week. Broadcasting live 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern time on all your big tech platforms. Weaponizednews.com/shop. Become a paid subscriber of Weaponized News Substack. We're streaming there live now. You'll get the full show. You'll get a summary of the show and links to almost everything we talk about for documentation and further research purposes. Become a paid subscriber at Weaponized News Substack. Everything's free there. Show your support for our efforts here at Weaponized News. Become a paid subscriber. And thank you to all the patrons, donors, and subscribers, and unpaid subscribers as well. We appreciate you sharing Weaponized News. And for all of your support, thank you very much. Weaponizednews.com/shop. Go ahead and plug away there, Ruckus, please.
Sure, I would, but I keep losing power. So what's the point of plugging anything in? Just kidding. So head on over to alternatecurrentradio.com if you'd like to check out what me and my friends and my colleagues got going on over there. That is your home one-stop shop for Boiler Room, Sunday Wire with Patrick Henningsen. Of course, I do repost my appearances on other programs under the moniker Roundabout Ruckus. I got a new one from me and Jamie Hanshaw Dyer, which was really good. I also have one up here recently that I did with Charlie Robinson from Macroaggressions. So you'll find that up here as well. And then, of course, this is where you find me on the Weaponized News in case you missed me last week or the week before. They're all up there, okay? Oh, there's one with Charlie. And then we got our friends doing the Mystical American Patriot Society. We've got the Odd Man Out podcast and music. I did put up my new one for my birthday celebration right here, Bicentennial Baby Mix. So if you're ever looking for our music stuff and all the new ones, just find any of them on the website. And then if you just click on the actual link, it'll take you to our Mixcloud page. That's where all the music mixes live. There are tons of music mixes available on Mixcloud, but you'll find a link for all that at alternatecurrentradio.com. You'll also find a link to my X account, which is AC_wordslinger, and my email if you want to send me something nice like, hi, how are you? Send me a donation or want to hire me as the word slinger. There you go.
Give us a follow for whatever it's worth on the glorified messaging app known as X, at Weaponized News, at AC_wordslinger. You can see right there. DMs are open, as the kids say. Send your hate mail and all of that. I've been called a MAGA. I've been called a liberal. I've been called a communist. I've been called a fascist. I've been called an aardvark. You know what I mean? So that's where we're at here.
I get called hey a lot. A lot of people call me hey. H-E-Y.
So we do a good job here at Weaponized News of pissing off all sides and everybody in between. And so that's how we know we're doing our job well. Thank you very much for your attention to that matter. Welcome back to the second half of Weaponized News on this Thursday, July 9th, 2026 edition. So we're having trouble trying to scrape together the funds to eat dinner. Trump is rolling out the Trump International Airport. And so this is what really matters, Ruckus, here. in Palm Beach, no less, so they can continue the trafficking operations through there. And you can see Donald Trump's name on it. Today it was announced President Donald J. Trump International Airport brand transition in progress. So very exciting news there.
Didn't he rename something recently, and then they made him rename it back?
Put his name on the Kennedy Center there in D.C., and they made him take it off. Yeah, because they said, "Dude, you're not part of this."
Listen, think about all these things that he's putting his name all over and changing the names of, like the Gulf of oh shoot, what's it called now? Gulf of whatever.
America.
Yes, Gulf of Mexico. For the Gulf formerly known as the Gulf of Mexico. We'll call it that. How about that? So, but once the Democrats come back in power, they're gonna change it all back. You realize this, right? So it's gonna, like, they're spending all this money and this effort and this time and the propaganda and probably taxpayer dollars, and then they're gonna do it all over again, and then again and again, and I'm just until everybody's until the cycle breaks, right?
You're panicking.
Yes, of course I am.
Ignore the panicins and trust in President Trump.
You wanted some more dystopic news? Well, here it is. Right out of the Hunger Games, the Patriot Games are being announced by the White House. 2026 Patriot Games, $250,000 prize pool divided between male and female champion. This is like literally right out of the Hunger Games. You still have 1 day to apply here, Ruckus. The 2026 Patriot Games submission portal. Competition dates August 9th through the 11th. It will be the televised finale on August 13th. As America celebrates its 250th birthday, the 2026 Patriot Games will bring together the nation's most exceptional youth athletes and leaders for an unforgettable competition honoring excellence and the American spirit. The 2026 Patriot Games is a premier national competition featuring outstanding high school students from across the nation. Male and female athletes will be selected to represent their home state or territory on a national stage as they compete in a series of high-intensity challenges designed to test strength, speed, agility, teamwork, resilience, and leadership. Over the course of the competition, athletes will face a series of demanding physical and mental challenges, culminating in the crowning of one male and one female Patriot Games champion. Each champion will receive $125,000 in scholarship funding. The 2026 Patriot Games will be featured as a nationally televised primetime event in August of this year, showcasing America's next generation of leaders and athletes to audiences across the country. Participation includes an all-expense paid trip for each athlete and one chaperone. And then there's your eligibility requirements, and here's how you can sign up there. I'll post the link at Weaponized News Substack, or you can go to freedom250.org/Patriot Games and sign up for Dystopia. Ruckus, exciting
via the portal. Huh? That's weird.
Oh my gosh!
They could have called it a contact form. They chose portal. Anyway.
You'll like this one. We're on to the economic section of the show now. Meta is currently testing super sensing AI glasses that will continuously record sound audio while snapping pictures every few seconds. The new hardware also gets rid of the LED light that notifies bystanders when the camera glasses are recording.
Now, none of this is confirmed, but it's looking like that's what they want to do here.
Taiwan stole our chip business.
That is confirmed.
Here's
Crazy.
Trump. Trump says Taiwan literally took 100% of the chips business almost, and I have them all moving back. They're all moving back into this country. Look at this. Howard Lutnick. How is this guy not in prison? There he is, the sitting Commerce Secretary for America. Today in Clay, New York, Micron Tech poured the first concrete for its historic semiconductor campus after announcing a $250 billion investment in America under President Trump. Construction is now underway on one of the largest semiconductor manufacturing projects in U.S. history. And there's Crooked Lutnick with a Micron dude celebrating it. So they're literally building out the technocracy here in America.
You're wondering why he's not in prison? Seriously?
Yeah. Everybody's wondering, how is this guy able to, well, apparently he's high up in the structure, in this whole gangster government structure. Here's
well, that might be why then. Or there's also you know how some people walk around, they just live such a blessed life and spreading miracles and love and joy to everybody. So some people say that they're building riches in heaven, right? Treasures. This guy is building treasures, gifts, as it were, punishments in hell. So he gets away scot-free now, but don't you worry. I don't think that's going to last very long anyway.
He's going to get the life extension technology. He's going to
good luck with that too.
He's going to live forever, and so he'll never have to face Judgment Day, Ruckus.
Sure.
Here's Lutnick on the War Channel, Fox News. I guess this is Fox Business, so they're War Channel Light.
Micron, which builds memory. So you remember when you have a chip, there's a logic and there's memory, right? So we need to build both in America. So they're building it in Texas and they're building it in Arizona. They're building logic. And now Micron is building here in New York and in Boise, Idaho, hundreds of billions of dollars in memory. You haven't seen a factory. We call it a mega fab, but let's be clear, this is a factory. This is a factory that's going to produce memory chips in central New York, which hasn't had anybody building anything in decades. Bad politicians turned around and let these companies leave. The Carrier Dome isn't here anymore.
At
right?
Syracuse University.
And now you've got Micron pouring it in, right? This, just one megafab is going to be a mile long, and there's going to be 4 of them. Tens of thousands of jobs. Micron is going to do 100,000 jobs. Then you've got company after company investing hundreds of billions of dollars.
Hundreds of billions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of jobs. He just talks out of his ass, and they don't even question it. They're just like, yeah. It's like, dude, this guy is like the biggest con man besides Trump in America.
So they're building them now close to New York City, or where in New York?
Clay, New York is where they're building this manufacturing.
See, if they put it close to like New York City, that'd be great, because no one would ever complain about the lights or the sound or the pollution or anything. I mean, no one would even notice.
No, it's in. They're going to destroy the land. More on this. They're building
a mile.
the thing.
He said it was a mile. By the way, you heard that, right? That's insane. Sorry.
It's a giant facility. I think we have more about it, but here's they're selling technocracy, how wonderful it all is. They're bringing it all back home here for the giant end game, I guess. We're waiting for Skynet to become self-aware and the Terminator to come to your door. Here's more about it. Apple, Broadcom, Micron investing billions of dollars to produce advanced memory chips on American soil.
Had 2 great announcements in the past few days, from both Micron and Apple and Broadcom about reshoring semiconductor manufacturing here. So across all of these key sectors, we're targeting plans to reshore, and we're seeing action right now.
Reshore. I like that language. Reshore.
I'm like, yeah, sure. Not reshore. Never mind. It's so stupid that this idea that like we had that manufacturing here, then we sent it away, and then now we brought it back, and then they went away again, and now we're bringing it back. Another cycle thing that keeps going over and over again between the administrations, between the decades and whatnot.
It's called globalization. The
What's
line
it called when you bring everything back home, reshoring.
NAFTA. It's called NAFTA, and so the line criminal politicians that sold out America then, they're all dirty scoundrels, but trust the Trump administration and Howard Lutnick today. There it is. Micron boost U.S. investment. They're also facing. Micron is facing a giant lawsuit claiming that they have been price fixing along with other U.S. chip manufacturers to control the memory microchip market price. So that's also going on as well. But I'm sure that we'll look the other way with this giant $250 billion investment.
Well, if they don't do it, Sam, China will. See, they have to beat China to raising the prices on everybody.
Or Russia.
Or Russia, but I think China. It's always China. It's always China.
Thankfully, we had Kissinger, as reported on this day, went there on this day in 1971, or else who knows what our relations with China would be like today, Ruckus.
Who knows?
General Motors invests $275 million to expand vehicle and engine manufacturing operations in Tennessee. But aren't they isn't the feds pass the law next year, all new vehicles manufactured in America have to have all this surveillance tech in them, right?
Yeah, the cameras and it's
like basically you have to take a DUI test before you can even freaking drive your car, right?
Oh no, don't worry. It can sense before you even walk out of the house, but based on your Facebook post that you just liked.
Again, this is not the flex they think it is when you put it in context.
I don't know. Safe and effective, right?
Brain rot, literal Fed slop coming out of the White House. They posted this video. None of their tax cuts are keeping pace with inflation. So, but here's the brain rot Fed slop from the White House. No audio. I guess there's a little audio.
Help. I want to leave. Can just the aliens come and get me, please? Yeah. Okay. So, wow. Yeah. So is that what they're going to do? They're just going to take all of these popular, viral, trendy, stupid AI slop things that we see all over the place, and they're going to redo it, their flavor, their brand. Is that what's been going on here this whole time? This is and that one is the dumbest one too. I've seen they cut these fake cut things videos. And like I saw one. The only one that I saw was that seemed interesting, and it was just as lame as all of that. Was they were cutting open planets, and I was like, oh, this could be interesting to show what the planet looks like. I'm like, no, this is dumb. This is dumb. All these stupid videos that they make are dumb. And now the White House is making dumb AI slop. What do you call it? Brain rot? That's perfect. This is so dumb.
That's what the kids say. The kids call it brain rot. So yeah, it is brain rot, Fed slop, total BS. And again, all the tax cuts that they claim are creating an economic golden age are negated by inflation via the war. So thank you very much, war criminals there at the White House. A diarrhea causing parasite, cycloparachiosis, has led to a growing outbreak in the United States that has sickened more than 1,000 people and sent dozens of people to the hospital. The Trump administration scaled back the CDC disease tracking, making reporting on it optional for states participating in the Food Net surveillance network. So apparently there's a bunch of and we have that we have more about Meta, is why I even mentioned that in the economic section. Meta now lets users make AI images from public Instagram profile pics. So you could see them, because Instagram's like a bunch of chicks in bikinis and all this, right? Jumping around. And so you could very easily see how this is going to be abused, right, Ruckus?
No, but tell me more about the bikinis jumping around and the girls and the Instagrams.
That's basically Instagram. But okay, the reason I read all that is to get to this is no, we didn't even get to the story. Did I lose it? Meta, one of their, okay, here it is. Deadly bacteria found in major U.S. city water system traced to Mark Zuckerberg's $800 million Meta data center.
Is this the same thing that's the diarrhea thing?
No, it's not related, but kind of related, right? So
this is getting even more interesting. Go on.
It's traced back to his data center. They're saying the CDC or whatever public health tracking traced it back to this bacteria coming from Meta data center.
Which one? So there's the explosive diarrhea story, right?
That's separate, yeah.
Okay, so now there's something else that's making people sick, a bacteria?
Yeah.
What the F? Okay, now that one, the Meta one, is that also causing diarrhea out of curiosity?
It doesn't say here. Let me find some more reporting on it. I just had the headline.
Yeah, I find it very strange that, like, we're seeing, like, oh man, I'm gonna get us in trouble. We're on YouTube, right? Okay, coded language. So during the bat time, there was an advancement of a certain technology that was happening around us. Number 5, right? and we're up to number 6 pretty soon. But like, some people did a lot of very interesting research, including myself, looking at some like top secret information and past stories about when there's other, technological advents happening and fancy things. Roger, can you look at this radar whatever, and then people getting sick and exhibiting symptoms that they're like, well, maybe it's related, and like, no, sit down, shut up, you crazy conspiracy theorist, right? Well, there's actually a lot to that. I mean, there's a lot of science that would suggest it. Now, the reason I bring this up is like almost immediately after CERN got switched off, suddenly there was a massive like bizarre symptom happening to people, and then all these stories to explain it away, like what we're discussing right now. So I'm just suggesting, because frequency can have a pretty serious effect on your body and in particular your bowels, if you know what I mean. So I'm just like, I find it fascinating that all of a sudden, like, there's these like, oh yeah, people are pooping stories, like, and are acting weird or getting headaches, tinnitus. There's a lot of like increase in these types of things. I'm like, maybe it's related to the change of the fact that the frequency has changed. Whether it's good or bad that thing's turned off, I think it's good that thing's turned off. But when there's a change, your body reacts to a change, especially when it comes to frequencies and harmonics. I'm just throwing it out there as I know, sit down and shut up, crazy conspiracy theorist, right?
I agree with you. And they also like to explain away a lot of miracle effects as well. And they're like, it's never the miracle. It's always this other thing. Right.
But there hasn't been an increase in people running out and taking more of those. The only other thing too I did notice, which was fascinating.
But it's long term and ongoing. You know what I mean? And it's tens of thousands, to be conservative, of experiments are live right now. You know what I mean?
True. All right. Well, maybe it's a timed thing. I don't know. But also fireworks, people. If you mishandle fireworks or you're breathing in all the toxic chemicals from the fireworks, those also will give you the exact same symptoms that we're hearing about right now from alleged parasites. Just throwing that out there, too.
I covered that on Monday, the extreme toxicity caused by the giant fireworks show in DC. You might as well just walk up to, put your lips around the muffler and breathe in that exhaust. It's about the same. More on the data center. More on the data center, Meta data center here, Ruckus. It's in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Cheyenne won't take data center wastewater after Meta contractor contaminated system. And so that's what this is, that story about the Meta spreading bacteria was about.
Crazy.
Cheyenne won't take, let's see, Cheyenne announced today it's suspended taking wastewater associated with data center systems after Meta contractor contaminated the city's wastewater system, prompting months of cleanup. And it's called GOAT Systems LLC, was in significant non-compliance with the city's industrial pre-treatment regulations after discharging wastewater contaminated with the bacteria that interfered with operations at the city's water reclamation facilities and contaminated the municipal reuse water supply. GOAT LLC is the corporate entity Meta uses for construction of its sprawling, nearly 800,000 square foot Cheyenne data center campus, known during development as Project Cosmo. Continuing here. Former Fed Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke of their too big to fail, too big to jail bailout era. That shows you we don't live under free market capitalism here in this country. Anyhow, old Ben Bernanke still around. He's going to join Anthropic or Anthropoc's AI Oversight Trust Board. I don't know why you would bring this guy in, but it looks like they need some inside banker funding, honestly. And he would be the guy, right? One of the guys. Okay, let me blast through this economic information, Ruckus, this economic news, and then we'll get to the geopolitical section. Over 70 European Union leaders are demanding an investigation into FIFA president Infantino. That's a report out of Politico. Oh yeah, your sports ball, it's all rigged. Inverse Kramer. This is a funny one. Inverse Kramer. There's an account out there that does the opposite of what the dude on the cable news. Buy. What with Mad Money, Jim Cramer. I'm sure people are familiar with him. Anyway, if you're not giving financial advice, but Inverse Kramer is up 57.8%. So they literally do the exact opposite of what this guy that says he's a financial wizard on the cable news, Jim Cramer. They do the opposite. Yeah, that dude. Inverse Kramer literally does the opposite of what he says, and they're up 57.8%. Can't make this stuff up, man. Oh my gosh. Okay, continuing. The EU will. This is very concerning. Talk about just control freak to the micro level here. Now, the EU will start monitoring people's private chats. 314 MPs there in the EU Parliament voted to reject chat control, but 361 voted for chat control. And so now they're in the EU. They're going to be policing private chats on the internet. for the children's safety, of course.
Oh, okay. Well, if it's for the kids, then never mind. Hey, kids, speaking of which, there's a great book you should probably read before it's too late. 1984. Just saying.
Indeed. I read it once in high school and then once afterwards. And if you read it a long time ago, I would advise go read all of these famous dystopic novels again with a new mindset of what you know today versus maybe in high school or college when you read them. And I think you'll get it's like a whole new book, honestly.
And that one's actually kind of tricky too. That one reads a little weird, but it's still a good book, and you're absolutely
right. Again, disconnected. The White House is disconnected from Main Street. Let's play this. They say shoppers could see some relief at the checkout line at Walmart. Walmart cutting prices on thousands of items, including ground beef, laundry detergent, and other essentials. So that means the price was jacked up, and we see them do this during Black Friday, right? I know that's racist, but Black Friday here, the Friday after Thanksgiving, they jack the prices up, and then they bring them down, and they say, "What a great savings we got for you." And it's like, bro, that was the same price you had 3 weeks ago before you did this whole marketing Black Friday scheme. It's just complete bullshit. But here's a short clip about how Walmart is pitching in for the poors here in America.
Shoppers could see some relief at the checkout line, though. Walmart cutting prices on thousands of items, including ground beef and soft drinks, laundry detergent, and other essentials. The discounts are available in stores, online, and at Sam's Club. President Trump put out a statement saying this came at his administration's request.
At his request.
But hey, the commies are going to take over. Let me tell you, Ruckus.
He's doing a lot. He's doing
a lot of commie stuff. He's doing a lot of
at my request, right? He doesn't even have to do like executive orders anymore. Now he's like affecting the whole rest of the world. He's taking his magic wand, and now he's all like, "Hey, FIFA, ding! At my request, you should probably look into this red card thing or whatever it was, the ban on the player or whatever." And ding! Hey, Walmart, you should probably lower prices. And hey, ding! I don't want to jump too far ahead, but you got a story about the gas pumps tonight too.
Hmm.
Did you see the gas pumps too? The gas pumps that popped up everywhere.
Yeah, Freedom Fuel. I covered that last 2 days. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Same kind of thing. So ding, they haven't released the names of whoever's involved with that, but we know it's a friend of Trump. You know what I mean?
How about the federal government in your and I name as American citizen taxpayers buying equity stakes in a bunch of these big tech firms? How you like that? That's straight up communism. Like communists are the biggest threat.
Tell me first before they do it, so I can get a little money and going on the bets like they do. That's fine, you know.
You're not an insider. You're not an insider, Ruckus.
Darn it!
It's only for the betters of us that are corrupt beyond our imagination level of criminals. It's only for them, not for you and I. Nearly half of American adults under 30 are living with a parent, according to the Wall Street Journal. So it's the golden age. Trump's family and their various businesses have gotten about $13 billion in investments from foreign governments, primarily from countries in the Middle East. Here's a funny one. I thought More Perfect Union posted this. I thought this was a funny one. They need to get up. This is old though, right? To save money, maybe you should skip breakfast. I don't know. Just saying. Or get on GLP-1s. You know what I mean? You get a 50% off on your monthly subscription at trumprx.gov. So when you can't afford to eat, there are options here in America.
So people are getting Ozempic feet now. I don't know if you saw that one.
I have not, but and God only knows the long-term side effects. We don't know because people have not been guinea pigs long enough for us to know the long-term.
That's not true. They actually do know quite a bit about these things, and they don't really talk about it. But yeah, it causes like bone density, weight loss thing. Like there's a big problem.
Osteoporosis, yeah.
All sorts of problems, and blindness, and now this foot issue. Yeah, no, they've known about this stuff. It's crazy.
But I'm talking long-term, like 20, 30 years down the road.
Sure.
We don't know. Because they haven't been guinea pigs long enough. Anyhow, if you can even live that long. But I guess you don't need to because you can't even afford to eat. You take synthetic Gila monster venom, and that's Maha now here in America with the big World Wrestling Championship belts, as we showed at the beginning. So just skip breakfast if you're a little bit light in the wallet. The Defense Department was funded with a budget of nearly $1 trillion, but it's running out of cash, according to 3 U.S. officials and a former defense official. Outside experts and 2 congressional staff members say. So they already burned through $1 trillion budget this last year, basically.
In 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, joy.
Trump invests millions in weapons firms profiting from war in Iran. So
he's not going to invest in the ones who aren't profiting, Sam.
Responsible Statecraft posted this. Trump acquired at least $10 million in defense stocks last year. The president's portfolio kept accumulating shares in companies like Palantir and Lockheed Martin that were benefiting directly from his global military escalations. But he gives away his salary, we're told, by MAGA clownfluencers and idiot followers out there. So we shouldn't be concerned about literal war profiteering by Trump because he donates his salary to charity, Ruckus.
Right, sure he does. The big secret is he does not actually care about money. Once you get to a point where you have so much money, you start caring about other things. Why do you think people bring all these like golden gifts to him and stuff like that? You know what I mean? Or try to stroke his ego. It's like, yeah, what do you get the guy who already has a ton of money? You like more money? Yeah. He's so casual about it. He's like, oh, yeah, I heard my son's company just made an extra couple $100 million. Yeah, that's good, right? That's good news, right? Yeah. Like, I mean, dude, that's life-changing money for most people. It's crazy. He's so casual about it. Like it doesn't even register to him, you know?
He just comes up with the next scam, scheme, and fraud and has plenty of dupe idiots to buy into it. This article I'll post on Weaponized News Substack. We don't have time to read through the whole thing, but it details all the ins and outs of war, straight up war profiteering by Trump, okay?
Well, if he didn't do it, China was going to do it first.
If he didn't do it, Obama or Biden would have done it. Trump has traded as much as $696 million in stocks over 3 months as president. He's competing with Bibi to be the most corrupt man in the world now. Exciting.
Wow. Trump's got a lot of catching up in that department, but that's my personal opinion.
So it was. What do you even say? We kill a bunch of Russians, but don't worry about it because it's creating American jobs. Here's from the Department of War. President Trump's America First policy is delivering for American workers. In 2025, European defense spending supported nearly 200,000 American jobs, including 112,000 positions from U.S. defense contractor sales and 83,000 jobs from European defense firms operating in the United States. The America First arms transfer strategy is ensuring allied procurement flows into American industry, reindustrializing our nation while arming partners with the world's best capabilities. And NATO and Ukraine for the last few weeks are bragging they're killing 30 to 35,000 Russian soldiers a month. And we're supposed to be happy about that because it's helping create American jobs. Onto the price of a gallon of gasoline here now. It's going back up. It went up 5 cents from yesterday. According to AAA, here's our average $8, or excuse me, $3. Probably be $8 before we know it. $3.85 when you round up there on average across the country. So, and you can see it's gone up 5 cents from yesterday. It's going to continue to increase as this war could last 1 day, 2 days, a week, a month, or forever.
We added the forever part, remember?
Brown University it looks like they got their tracker back up and going. The Watson School of International and Public Affairs, it was $66.6 billion yesterday. So we got a 666 out of it. Today, it looks like their tracker's back up and going because we're at $66.9 billion total consumer cost burden since the beginning of the Iran war, February 28, 2026, here on day 131 of the Iran war. And the per household cost burden spread across both gasoline and diesel costs is up to $511.06. And I think their data is lagging a little bit. I do think it's a lot higher than this actually, but that gives us some type of reference point. Here's the fact check I was talking about earlier here. Thankfully, U.S. Central Command's out there policing the internet and getting the facts straight. Iranian media claims that transit through the Strait of Hormuz is only permitted through routes designated by Iran. The truth, according to U.S. Central Command, Iran does not control the Strait of Hormuz. Since early May, U.S. forces have helped facilitate the successful transit of more than 800 commercial vessels and 380 million barrels of crude oil through the vital international trade corridor. And so I'm glad U.S. Central Command is fact-checking these Iran posts on the X, or else we'd be swimming in a sea of disinformation, Ruckus.
We wouldn't want that. That's almost as dangerous as misinformation or the dreaded malinformation.
Oil tanker traffic through the Strait of Hormuz has slowed to near standstill after renewed U.S. strikes on Iran triggered Iranian retaliation across the Gulf, Reuters reports.
I thought this was water. Isn't the Strait of Hormuz like a body of water?
Yeah.
How do they stand still on top of it then? I'm confused.
They're in boats that float, but they're at the bottom of the sea, according to Trump.
Sorry, their navy was gone, wiped out. There is no
But
navy.
every day we blow up their navy.
They have no navy again.
Every day. We are whacking some, I think we're whacking Iranian fishermen now. We'll get to that. Yeah, Strait of Hormuz, it's closed. It's freaking zero a la Dan Bongino, right? It's freaking done. Here's a breakdown from Rick Sanchez. I think it's to give us, he has a big map. So I do like this. Let's watch this report giving us a breakdown about the Strait of Hormuz here now. And he has a map so he can point it out. I need this kind of studio, Ruckus. You need to donate to my Weaponized News fund so I can get this kind of fancy studio. Here's Rick Sanchez giving us a breakdown on the Strait of Hormuz.
There's actually two straits involved here. This that you see right here, this is the Strait of Al-Mandab. It is what the head of Russia's Security Council, Dmitry Medvedev, usually recently called a hydrogen bomb. So if this is a nuclear bomb, they're saying this is the hydrogen bomb. And right now, it is also under threat because Yemen, seen right here, geographically controls that tiny little opening that goes into the Red Sea and goes into the Mediterranean right now. They are threatening again to shut it down. Remember, Yemen is an ally of Iran, right? And Yemen is, as we speak right now, going at it once again with Saudi Arabia by threatening their airport and their seaports and their sea lanes. This is how Saudi Arabia gets much of its oil into the world. Can you imagine? In fact, you know what? The Strait of Mandab, based on what I just talked about, just through Saudi Arabia alone, may be an even more vital source or a vital pathway than the Strait of Hormuz. 9 billion barrels of oil alone flows through here every single day. That's a lot. It's how cargo, not just oil, gets into the Mediterranean. Goods travel through ships right through. They go in through here or out through there. They go through the Red Sea right there. Then they go up. See up there? That's the Suez Canal. And then they go into the Mediterranean. So right? Think about what would happen if both the Strait of Hormuz and the Strait of Al-Mandab, both this one and this one, are shut down. A fourth of all the world's oil, all the world's gas, all the world's fertilizer, all the world's chemicals would not be able to get in and out of here or in and out of there.
Can we just blow it all up, Ruckus? I mean, why should we even care? Can't we just nuke the whole place?
This is exciting news, Sam. No. Hear me out. We finally have a chance to make some money off of this. This is fantastic. All right, so we just need to sign up for one of these poly market bet places. Find the one that says we're going to place a bet on whether or not the Strait of Al-Mandab, if something's going to go wrong there, it's going to get shut down. And we're going to say that, yes, that is absolutely going to happen because as we all just saw, that's going to happen. So this is a sure bet, people.
Houthis already shut it down before. You remember about a year and a half ago, due to the genocide there in Gaza, when they were going hot and heavy, they basically shut it down and said, any ships driving through here, we'll shoot you in the face, bro.
And if I was a real betting man, I would suggest that all around at the same time and or as an alternative, something is going to go wrong, whether or not Iran or we have anything to do with it, that's going to clog up the Suez Canal. Just because all the timing is just too perfect to just screw everything up. And yeah, it's probably going to be a nice, rough Christmas, y'all. Get ready for that, too.
Almost like there's a global conspiracy for one world government, and all of these governments at the very top level are working in lockstep fashion to engineer a global energy crisis leading to a global famine, Ruckus.
Your words, not mine, you crazy lunatic. Go wrap the tinfoil on tighter. Quick, somebody help. What am I doing on air with this lunatic? He must be one of those crazy leftist people or something. What are you, a Trump panic, an anti-Trumpist?
An anti-Trumpist. Are you a panikin? Okay, on to our geopolitical news. That's exactly what's happening here now for those that don't know. Now you know. Sadly, tragically, Welsh singer Bonnie Tyler's died at age 75 years old. And so we had to announce a celebrity death there. Her famous song, Total Eclipse of the Heart, is a great song. So rest in peace there, Bonnie Tyler. Okay, this was a funny one. This is a nice revolver, real nice. Erdogan at NATO gifted all of the criminals there these revolvers. That's a nice revolver with live rounds as well. And so that's very nice indeed. What do you think of that? Of that gun there?
Who received those?
All the NATO international criminals that we showed in those clips.
That's crazy.
Erdogan gave it. But turns out over there in Europe, they're not allowed to have 2A. And so Erdogan gifted NATO leaders vintage Magnum revolvers with live rounds Maybe so they could, I don't know, Harry Carey. Maybe they have a cross. I don't know. But Keir Starmer couldn't allegedly, like they follow the law, but allegedly publicly, he couldn't, he's not allowed to take his gift of this revolver into the UK because it's illegal. Belgium Prime Minister didn't realize it was a revolver until his plane landed, and Vanderlei plans to donate hers to a museum. And so they're great humanitarian philanthropists, but they brag about how many Russians they can kill. So again, from the old, I need to get that clip. We used to play it with Simon about we're offended that you wrote cuss words on the plane that bombs children. We're not offended by the bombing of the children. We're offended that you wrote a cuss word on the plane. This same type of mindset, the hypocrisy is this otherworldly now, Ruckus, with these people.
What do you mean by these people?
The quote leaders.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Trump says he supports you. This is it right here. And Russia, we've reported on it. Trump says he supports.
I'm so sorry because my brain is like tripping out here. The revolver thing. Obviously, he was not giving those away as gifts. He was trying to give them a hint, and none of them took it.
Obviously. Russia's getting pretty pissed. They're facing fuel shortages. Ukraine via NATO, via America. We just launched a bunch of long-range attacks into Russia, blowing up a bunch of their petroleum infrastructure. They're facing fuel shortages. They are putting export controls now on fuel. Trump says he supports Ukraine long-range strikes deep inside Russia. Russia has said on multiple occasions, as soon as you do that, U.S., we're taking it as if you are launching strikes on us, and we'll be in direct war with you, United States. Here's Trump at NATO saying that they're going to give, that is us, America, is going to give Ukraine a license to teach them to make Patriot missiles.
No audio.
Anyhow, Trump said he's going to give them the blueprints to make the Patriot missiles, essentially. And again, Russia has said they're going to take this as an act of war by the United States against Russia. Things are escalating here quickly. Russia plans commercial logistics hub at Syria's Tartus port while retaining military presence. Syria officials told Reuters that Russia aims to have a commercial logistics hub operational by the middle of this month. So what, in a week? At one of the two berths at the naval facility it leases in Syria's port of Tartus, while maintaining a military presence at the other. Russia's another big attack on Russian energy infrastructure. Russia's Sartov oil refinery has stopped processing crude after a Ukrainian drone attack damaged it. Its only primary refining unit. The refinery, which accounts for about 2.2% of Russia's refining capacity, has not offered fuel on the St. Petersburg exchange as of yesterday, according to a report out of Reuters. Russia rejects peace talks. That's where we're at now. Russia rejects peace talks, prepares to escalate Ukraine war in coming months. Kremlin insiders reveal a high probability of near-term Russian escalation in Ukraine as Putin rejects ceasefire compromise to secure a total victory in the Donbass. And Trump is saying, well, maybe if we do long-range attacks into Russia, that is going to bring an end to this. That's just going to piss them off even that much more. But I guess Russia likes being bombed as much as the Iranians, Ruckus. What do you think? Looks like Ruckus. Oh, there you are.
Clearly, yeah, they're hitting me with something.
Russia will no longer take. This is Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov. He says Russia will no longer take the West's statements at face value. The West hypocritical calls to start Ukraine talks continue despite their consistent lies. This assumption of good faith is over. We keep seeing the same routine. We're going to have peace talks. And then we bomb the hell out of them, or our proxies do. And so Russia's seeing the same routine here now. It's not looking good. The Department of War.
Like this for a couple of years too, where it's like we're always on the edge of World War III over the Russia thing. It's crazy.
It's escalating now, though, because Ukraine was not attacking deep inside Russia. Now they're attacking deep inside Russia, destroying their energy infrastructure, and that's the lifeblood of the Russian economy. So it's escalating much. On to Department of War memes of the day. They put out quite a few here, Ruckus, in our thumbnail. Now they're openly bragging about directed energy weapons here. Light speed lethality, scaling directed energy weapons, American directed energy dominance. So this is exciting. Everybody can go down to Walmart and buy one of these for the 2A, right, Ruckus?
Directed energy dominance. DED. Dead. Cool.
Join Warforce if you want to be part of genocide. Here you go. Join Warforce. As the Department of War continues to try to recruit engineers to build out Skynet, Warforce is embedding engineers across the Department of War to rapidly deploy AI and modernize the War Department. And you can sign up right there to become complicit in genocide, illegal foreign wars of aggression, crimes against humanity, and war crimes.
What in holy HE double hockey sticks was that I just saw there? What? Yeah. Another. Oh, sheesh, the White House has got to stop with it. What the F, man?
That's the Department of War.
Hooray. Okay. Yeah, that's creepy. I don't know, man.
There's more, but there's more. Ruckus. Scaling directed energy capabilities. Department of War announces awards $86 million joint laser weapon system agreements. Defend the homeland. The Department of War announced today the award of 2 joint laser weapon system other transaction authority agreements valued at an initial $86 million with a total program ceiling of $847 million to Enlight Defense and Lockheed Martin, led by the Department of War Scaled Directed Energy SCAD critical technology area. This technology sprint focuses on rapidly transitioning prototype containerized high energy lasers into field ready platforms for ground and naval systems. These modular speed of light intercept systems will scale from an initial 150 kilowatts to 500 kilowatts, providing the joint force with deep magazines and cost-effective defense capabilities to counter advanced cruise missiles and high-volume UAS swarms. That's those drone swarm attacks that have become so popular in modern warfare. So that's very exciting. $86 million already awarded on, and they're working on this $847 million budget they have for the directed energy weapons. You don't seem so excited about this, Ruckus.
Don't even get me started on directed energy weapons.
By developing containerized high energy laser weapons, the Department of War aims to provide combat commanders with scalable, cost-effective intercept solutions for asymmetric and high-tier adversary threats. So they have fancy language there. That's good enough for me, right?
If you say so. I can't argue with what's good enough for you or not.
Oh my gosh. But do you remember the days when they would say you're a crazy person if you talked about directed energy?
I was I'm in the where did the towers go camp. We'll just leave it there.
Summer of the Patriot, and you like how they blocked out his face there? Summer of the Patriot, meme of the day from the Department of War. And this is creepy when they do this. I don't know why what does that mean? Why do they do that?
Well, if I tell you, I'd have to,
I see.
I'd have to take your picture and black your eyes out like that. See.
So they're rolling out allegedly a bunch of directed energy weapons. They also posted about laser wars as well. Yeah. So
laser wars. This is what, are we talking about movies now? What is going on?
No, this is the Department of War for all the conspiracy people. Laser Wars exclusive. This guy wrote an article on Substack, but the Department of War shared it, so obviously he's part of it. U.S. military awards joint laser weapon system contracts. The Pentagon has tapped Lockheed Martin and Inlight to build cruise missile killing high energy laser weapons for the Golden Dome for America domestic missile defense shield. And if we don't do this, China was going to do it. So we kind of had to, Ruckus.
No, China's not going to defend us by shooting down incoming missiles. That's what these things are used for. Okay, that's interesting, though. Yeah. Laser Wars, though. The nice name.
You'll especially like this. Trigger warning for the antiseptics. Lux Maxer. How do you say this stupid guy's name? Calvaclar. How do you say his name? You know the guy I'm talking about, right? This guy. You'll see him. Young guy. He was a good looking guy. I'm not going to lie. And then when it had plastic surgery, he's a Lux Maxer. Very weird. Anyway, he went to Aardvark Land as is customary, and he got an open AI Star of David necklace. Let's see the gift here now. So I'd say be very careful what you tell these AIs.
My friend from J-Trip gave me this beautiful necklace. Wow. And I don't really wear necklaces, so I think it would be beautiful for you to have it. So it's an OpenAI logo. You know OpenAI logo? Yeah. And you got a Star of David inside of it. Oh, I think it's a pretty cool necklace. Show the cameras. Right. Look at this. Look at this.
So ChatGPT?
Yeah, basically ChatGPT, Morgan David.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it. Anyone know how to put on a necklace?
I'll figure it out. I might have to make this a little.
They said ChatGPT Mogging David. That's the Star of Ramfin.
Well, if you watch the episode that I did with Jamie Hanshaw Dyer, you'll learn, spoiler alert, a lot of these AI company logos look a lot like a booty hole. So you put the Star of David in your booty hole. Congratulations. Good on you.
Ouch.
Right. Ouch, indeed.
They're heavy into sodomy. Aardvark Times reports, well, thankfully they're not going to get involved, but we are. U.S. braces for prolonged Iran escalation. No current push for Aardvark land involvement. Here you go. So thankfully they're not involved, but we sure in the hell are. And we wouldn't have it any other way because they're our greatest ally.
And blowback isn't a thing, so everything's fine.
More on Khomeini's funeral. They're unrolling these banners across Iran. It says, "We will kill Trump." He's not joking about they want him dead. I don't know why they would, but we're bombing him right now.
Do they know there's a reward out for Trump's head?
I think they're the ones offering the reward. Yeah. It turns out old Khomeini was actually a pretty popular dude. Now here's millions turned out. The largest, it's being widely reported now as the largest turnout for anyone's funeral in the history of the world here now. So it turns out whacking him may not have been the best decision as far as getting the Iranian people to overthrow their tyrannical government, Ruckus.
Shocking.
They're chanting death to Aardvark land. I can't even play it because it's so triggering, but giant crowds here. I'll mute it because we can't say that death to Aardvark land, but here's giant crowds at the wrap up of Khomeini funeral. And again, the red flags, you see all those red flags? Those are red flags of vengeance. They are effing pissed. You got all these pissed off Iranians now. Trump has the military. What do we got? Nothing. We got nothing. According to Iranian Health Ministry, at least 14 people were killed in airstrikes over the past 2 days and 78 other Iranians injured. And we're bombing them right now. So it's just going to keep adding up here now. The U.S. continues to bomb Iranian fishing boats while telling the world it is targeting the IRGC's fast attack boats. Here's some photos of the fishermen that CENTCOM whacked. Got those fishermen. Continuing here, more video. Let's show some more video of all these people, all these Iranians at the funeral. It's quite a lot. Quite a lot. No audio. It's just the sound of a helicopter anyway. But yeah, man, they turned them out there. Again, the largest turnout for a funeral in world history we've seen now out of Iran. We did have some nighttime footage, but here's some daytime footage of we whacked their maritime traffic control tower here in Chabar, Iran. Here's some daytime footage of it. You can see the damage. This attack happened last night. So as you can see, we blew that thing to hell. It's still standing, though, surprisingly enough, but doesn't appear to be operational at the moment. U.S. strike targets strategic Chinese, Turkmen, Iranian rail corridor. And so we're bombing the infrastructure here now. According to Iranian reports, the Ak-Tekin Khan rail bridge was destroyed by U.S. strikes. There's photos of that. And so we are targeting And of course, the United States is going to claim that they're using this for military transport and positions, but it certainly appears we are back to targeting civilian infrastructure as well as military targets in Iran, Ruckus.
Wow, I mean, shocking.
It looks like Argentina's been fully occupied now by the Zionists. Netanyahu, here's old Millet on Millet. Coincidentally enough, they have the same last name.
תראה, זה הזמן היחיד שלנו באמת לדבר. ואחרי שאנחנו...
We'll save that. But what he said in this interview, the interviewer asked, Netanyahu first said, I look for Argentina in the World Cup. They're talking about this kicking the ball game, the sports ball. Said, you know why? And the host said, Messi? And Netanyahu said, no. Before Messi, Millet, he's a superstar. And turns out they have the same last name when you go back and look at it. So it's appearing that old Javier Millet, the anarcho-capitalist, going to slash government with its golden chainsaw, is just another Zionist puppet.
More shocking news.
More
Actually, I think a lot of people kind of knew that, right?
Aardvark Clan wipes out villages in southern Lebanon, says no need for permission to maintain occupation. And so Katz has said they don't need permission from the United States. They'll do what they want, essentially, to paraphrase them.
Whatever. I do what I want.
Katz rejected Trump's remarks. That's the war minister of Aardvark Clan. Katz rejected Trump remarks saying Aardvark Clan does not need permission to remain in Lebanon. Are you as shocked by this as I am, Ruckus?
No.
Oh, man. We have to laugh because it's so tragic and horrific. Here's a demolition there in southern Lebanon. A little bit of video of it. It's ongoing. They're leveling the whole joint. Ongoing demolition campaigns in southern Lebanon.
It's going to make it easier to build back better, Sam.
Amnesty International documents evidence of indiscriminate Lebanon airstrikes, exposes callous disregard for civilian life. Amnesty International investigation focuses on 3 specific incidences in the districts of Tyre, Sidon, and Nabita that resulted in the deaths of 24 Lebanese civilians, including 12 children. Researchers concluded that these strikes were either direct attacks on civilians or carried out indiscriminately, violating international humanitarian law by failing to distinguish between military objectives and residential homes. It was just a mistake, I'm sure. Right, Ruckus?
That's impossible, because I thought they were using like Grok and Anthropic and these smart AIs to help them pick their targets. They would never make a mistake, would they?
They picked over 800,000 targets, according to a report out of The Guardian earlier this week. I think it was like 850,000 targets.
So which is it? Is the AI smart? Or was it a mistake because the AI is stupid?
It just says that basically everything's a target. So I guess it's smart in that regard.
Oh, well, man, there you go. Well, what's that expression? When you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail, right?
Look at this footage of this was a few days ago in southern Lebanon. You can see this is good footage of a demolition they're carrying out there. That's how they do. That's how they're doing the entire area.
How did they do that? They crashed a plane into it or something?
They wire the whole place with explosives.
Oh,
So-
don't they know all they got to do is just crash a plane into like a tall building and it takes care of the whole thing?
No, they wire the whole place with TNT. Think of Wile E. Coyote pushing down the plunger on the TNT. That's basically what they're doing. Of course, they have a lot higher technology. Maybe not than Wile E. Coyote. He was working with Acme Company, but that's basically what they're doing here.
And since it's TNT and Alfred Nobel invented TNT, that means these people are going to win a Nobel Prize. It makes perfect sense now.
Ben Gavir said, a young Bedouin man told me, you destroyed my 3 houses. I said to him, young man, learn the law. The law is the law. Governance is governance. So imagine that. Some dude, you tell a dude from the government, bro, you destroyed my house, my 3 houses. And he's like, governance is governance. What? That's what he said. We have the video.
It makes perfect sense. Just want to put that out there.
Oh, we got to play these clips for you Christian Zionist evil MFers out there. Here's a Christian Palestinian theologian. And so let's watch this clip in an interview with the Clash Report. What's this guy's name? Let me get his name right. Oh, Dr. Munther Isaac right here. And so I don't know. Are you a good Christian or is this guy a terrorist? He says he's a Christian there, but I guess Christian Zionists say he's a terrorist and want him terminated. Let's watch this interview about it. A call to Christian Zionists and world church organizers.
It's sad that many times we find ourselves even pleading for the humanity of Palestinians, pleading with Christian leaders to see the humanity of Palestinians. But our word is a call to repent, because I would say many Christians around the world have adopted a theology that led them to dehumanize and not see even the humanity of Palestinians. But my final word, and this is where I hope we find ears, is with those who simply believe these things because they thought this is the only way. And I hope that they come to the realization that this theology is harming their siblings in Christ and that there is a different way. It's not the only way, and that there is an alternative, and that alternative calls us back to the ways of Jesus, to the teachings of Jesus, to the ethics of Jesus, to the ways of the kingdom of God as Jesus proclaimed it and embodied, the kingdom spiritual and definitely on earth, one that is an embodiment of compassion, of truth and honesty, and defending the poor and the oppressed. So maybe many who are listening, maybe they're not the kind of hardcore Christian Zionists, but many probably thought this is the only way. And I hope they see first the impact of their beliefs on our lives, the daily lives of Palestinians and Palestinian Christians, but also that they listen to our invitation to come and be with us, walk in our shoes, understand our plight. We're more than happy. I lead the Bethlehem Institute for Peace and Justice with our sole purpose to reach out to the global church, to the Western church, with this particular message about looking at the reality in Palestine through the lens of the teachings of Jesus. We can make a difference.
Now, isn't that just terrorist talk?
Yeah, what's the guy's name?
His name is Reverend Dr. Munther Isaac. He has an X account.
It was Dr. Reverend. Hold on, I'm calling the authorities on him right now, Sam. Can you spell that for me?
Munther Isaac, ISAAC.
They say they're already they already know, they're familiar with them. He's on their list, and they also said that someone will be by to say hello to you very soon, Sam.
He says Christian Zionism is far from the ethics of Jesus, like love, justice, and care for the oppressed.
I'll stop him when he lies.
Christian Zionism is obsessed with entitlement and what we gain. Let's watch another short clip of this interview he did with the Clash Report. It's very triggering.
The ethics of Jesus matter. The teachings of Jesus, whether they are love the enemy, love your neighbor, care for the oppressed, speak for, be right, hungry for justice and righteousness. When I listen to the rhetoric that's coming from many Christian Zionists, we are shocked that it does not represent, it's very remote from the ethos of Jesus, from the ethics of Jesus. Jesus was not about political rights or the entitlement, perceived or real, of any people group. And so even if, going back to my first point, you disagree with my theological reason, even if you still believe that God has a special plan and a special purpose for the Jewish people, that cannot be at the expense of justice. That cannot be at the expense of human rights. That cannot be at the expense of any people group, including the Palestinians. That cannot be at the expense of the ethics and teachings of Jesus, the Jesus who said, love your neighbor as yourself, as important as love God with all your heart, with all your mind, and all your soul. In other words, if your theology, no matter what it is, shifts you from the core of the teachings of Jesus, takes you away from them, there's something deeply problematic. The whole idea of chosenness also is important, and we must examine it. The best expression of anyone's belief is, how do you treat others? It's not what do you demand from others when it comes to you. What matters is how we treat others, not how others treat us. And that's, maybe can be used to illustrate the difference between the Christian Zionist reading of Scripture, the Christian nationalist reading of Scripture, which is always about our rights and our obsession with what we gain, versus a reading of Scripture that always puts the other ahead and asks, how can we be a blessing to our neighbors? How can we even challenge our enemies without dehumanizing them? Love your enemy, Jesus said, don't seek revenge. So these are the questions that Jesus continues to challenge us with. And in my opinion, and it has been our argument, that Christian Zionism is so far away from the ethics and the teachings of Jesus.
Word.
Right, well said. What I like about that is he doesn't have to go through because I've had to go through quite a complicated method in order to come to my own conclusions about Zionism, including studying history, studying the man who wrote the Scofield Bible, studying some other people like Darby, and then also a lot of teachings about the variations and interpretations of prophecy, and there's lots of different versions of that. So I went through a lot and it would be very difficult for me to try to explain even half of that, or even an eighth of that, or even a 6/66 of that to anybody, even if they're, especially a Zionist Christian. But what he's saying right there, just on the basic fundamental level, just like what a kid would understand. Like, okay, so I believe in Jesus, and Jesus loves me, and he loves all the people, and this and that, and he said to do these things, and yes, we're not doing those things. Something doesn't add up here. So I like how simple and basic and obvious it is that, what would Jesus do? Would Jesus be out there like rootin' tootin' for the genocide in Gaza and Lebanon? I'm going to go ahead and say no, probably not. But what do I know, right? To each their own, right?
You damn Christian Zionists are possessed by an evil spirit at the very least. If you're cheering on and believe all this Zionist BS, man. And so, yeah, you guys are going to answer for it. So,
by the way, what do you call it when you think you and your group of people that you identify with are better than everybody else around you? What's that called?
Supremacy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's like racism, supremacy, all these bad things.
I thought we frowned on that. Yeah,
but yeah, there's just one. So with one exception, and in this particular exception, we're going to call it something else. We're going to give it a nice, happy, positive. We'll say chosen. We'll say they're chosen. Yeah, ridiculous, man. This is ridiculous. Yeah, it's supremacy. It's racist, and it's wrong.
It sounds like goy talk to me.
It is, of course. I got my goy hat on, see?
would Jesus be hanging out with these guys? The Aardvark land occupation soldiers filmed themselves destroying a Palestinian shop in Ramallah and shared the footage on their social medias. They just can't stop sharing their war crimes. Here's another one. I'll probably kill that beat because I'm sure somebody copyrighted it somewhere. But you can see there, seems very constructive what they're doing. I'm sure their version of Jesus, the Christian Zionist version, would approve of this behavior. And so you can see the mayhem going on there by IDF soldiers.
And they're sharing it, right? Obviously. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that just proves that they're very caring people, because sharing is caring after all.
They shared a drone strike here. Aardvarkland Media reports that Hazem Qasim, Hamas's chief political spokesperson in Gaza, survived an apparent assassination attempt. They whacked his car here, but they didn't get dude. Here's the video of that. Blew up his car. But they didn't get dude, and they're still trying to have like these peace talks there, or some kind of talk in Egypt. The Hamas is in Egypt. According to Aardvarkland Channel 14, an airstrike targeted the vehicle. Let's see, what his aide was killed by the strike, but he was but he's still alive. Hazem Qasim, Hamas's chief political spokesperson in Gaza. So they're trying to whack him. They missed him. They got his assistant there. According to Gaza's Ministry of Health, 1,084 Palestinians have been killed and 3,491 wounded since the ceasefire took effect, while the overall total since October 7, 2023 has reached 73,110 dead Palestinians. And again, the number's a lot higher than that. That's just the official total. And 173,599 injured Palestinians. At least 9 more Palestinians were killed yesterday, including a 6-year-old. Let's watch this short report out of Al Jazeera in regards to these massacres, genocide that's ongoing.
In Gaza, Israeli forces killed at least 9 Palestinians and injured several others on Wednesday. In Gaza City, Israeli troops shot and killed a 6-year-old child. And in southern Gaza, an airstrike killed at least 4 people, including a father and his son. Also in the south, Israeli forces shot the driver of an aid truck in Rafah.
Fun times, right?
It's all quite horrific, Ruckus. We got one more report, and then we'll wrap up the show today. Thank you for staying with us. Give us that like, share, subscribe, push that notification button. We've gone through 2.5 hours of a lot of information, a lot of hardcore news here for you now, virtually commercial free. We had that one short break there at the top of the hour, the first hour. And since then, we've been blasting through the news here. Give us that like, share,
and subscribe. I wore a cool hat, so
and he has this black hat on today. So I'm going to get a white hat for next week's show. Let's watch this report. Let's wrap up today, maybe on a good note. I don't know. I like this ancient history stuff. A report from Greg Reese here now. New SAR scans reveal a second Sphinx on Giza Plateau. Let's watch this report. I like these ancient history reports. Greg Reese, and then we'll do the wrap-ups after this report.
A stele is like an ancient Egyptian billboard. Pharaohs used them to record major events, announce their deeds, and communicate with the public. The dream stele is a large stone slab, 4.2 meters tall, made of granite. It was carved with hieroglyphs around 1400 BC, during the reign of Pharaoh Thutmose IV of the 18th dynasty, who had it placed between the paws of the Great Sphinx of Giza as the back wall of a small chapel he built there. It was later buried under sand, where it remained for centuries, before being rediscovered in 1818 by Giovanni Battista Caviglia. According to the inscription, a young prince Thutmose was out on a hunting expedition near the pyramids when he grew tired and lay down to rest in the shade of the Great Sphinx's massive head, which at the time was buried up to its neck in sand. Thutmose then had a dream that the Sphinx, speaking as the sun god, promised him the throne of Egypt if he would excavate the Sphinx from the desert sands. Thutmose did so. The dream stele shows two sphinxes, and while the official argument is that this is a standard convention in Egyptian art used to emphasize the importance of a divine entity through duplication, others have argued that it is a literal depiction and that a second sphinx exists or had existed somewhere on the Giza Plateau. Based on the equinoctial alignments observed on the Giza Plateau, as well as historical and religious indicators, researcher Damiano Pyrrhus hypothesized the existence and location of a second sphinx. He published his methods and findings in the book, The Dawn of a New Sphinx. Last year, researchers Filippo Biondi and Corrado Malanga famously announced their discovery of massive underground structures beneath the Giza Plateau in Egypt, over 700 meters deep. This research was primarily done using SAR, synthetic aperture radar Doppler tomography. In simple terms, this is a way of seeing underground using radar from satellites or aircraft. Radar waves are cast down to the Earth's surface, where they record signals and are then bounced back. By using multiple passes over the same area, the system creates high-resolution images that can detect millimeter-scale movements. By combining these scans with complex computer processing, scientists create 3D models made up of slices known as tomograms that illustrate what lies beneath the surface. It's much like a medical CAT scan on a grand scale. This technology is excellent for mapping large features and can identify density differences underground. At a recent conference in Bologna, Italy, Filippo Biondi and Corrado Malanga presented their latest findings in their Coffer research project. Once again, using SAR Doppler tomography to scan an area on the Giza Plateau, they have found what appears to be a buried sphinx-shaped structure. The SAR scans show the outline of a sphinx that mirrors the one on the surface. It has the same body, head, and paws, with the same intact Uraeus cobra, which was removed from the Great Sphinx on the surface, on its forehead. It appears to be the same size and shape of the Great Sphinx on the surface, and it is exactly where Damiano Pyrrhus hypothesized it would be. The scans also reveal the same vertical shafts and passages found beneath the pyramids and the entire plateau seen in their previous work. The researchers used AI to analyze the scans. The AI gave high probabilities, ranging from 78% to 96.5%, that the structures were indeed a sphinx-like monument, not a natural formation. The research team plans to submit a proposal to Egyptian authorities to excavate the site, which was covered by a 108-foot mound of sand in the 1920s. This area was known as the Western Cemetery and was recognized as a burial ground for high-ranking nobles, but for some reason became a garbage dump for material excavated from other areas on the plateau. Greg Reese reporting.
Interesting stuff there.
I was going to say, if I was a betting man, I'd say there was one buried underneath it. As above, so below. There you go.
As above, so below. Okay, latest headlines out of Iran International. Khomeini buried as U.S. signals Iran talks may continue. Iran says flights continue amid tensions with U.S. Trump sees Iran tanker attacks as terrorism. Son Khomeini, the new supreme leader in charge now, absent from public view during father's burial. U.S. strikes, Hormuz clashes, push Iran deal to the brink. Art Varkland told U.S. Iran plotted to kill Trump. I don't know where they got that. They were just have giant banners at their funeral saying, "We will kill Trump." So it was high.
Not like they put out a bounty on his head or anything.
It's high value intelligence coming from our greatest ally to warn Trump here now, Ruckus.
But they've been saying this for a while. Like they were like, yeah, they've been saying this for a while.
Don't try to poo-poo the value of Aardvark land intelligence, okay?
Finally, why would I do that? Because we're about to become like one and the same, and that'd be like poo-pooing on myself, and I don't want to poo-poo on myself.
Final headlines out of Al Jazeera here. Latest says Iran war live, new attacks on Iran, as U.S. says talks still on. I don't know how we're going to. It's back to, we're bombing you, bro. Come on, come talk. I mean, maybe let's pray for peace. Maybe we'll bomb them into submission. I don't see how that can possibly happen. Maybe. NASDAQ closes on a high despite U.S.-Iran escalation. Again, surprising they didn't wait till Friday, right after the markets closed. That speaks to the fact this may be last 1 day, 2 days, a week, or a month, or forever. We just don't know. Defective status of inconclusive negotiations. U.S. Congressman slams Trump's strategy on Iran. Iran says NATO summit is politically motivated. You think? Aardvark land told Trump Iran wants to kill him again. And that's all we got for today. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on this Thursday edition of Weaponized News. Let's pray for peace, as it's I don't see how Iran negotiates at this point. Russia said they're done. They don't believe anything coming out of our lying mouths over here. Lavrov said that today, right? So I'm pretty sure Iran has that same opinion by our actions. Okay, quickly over to Odysee channel. Shout out to the...
Can I give a public service announcement?
Go ahead, Ruckus.
Yeah, sure. So you know how about all the flock cameras and the people who are all upset about the flock cameras, and they're like, I mean, I wouldn't recommend doing this, but they're doing things like, you know, zapping them with like laser pens and cutting down the poles and doing all these sneaky things to destroy these cameras. And gosh darn it, the people are like leaving their phones behind when they do it, and they're sneaking up behind it and spraying they're doing all sorts of crazy stuff and just taking them out. So what they're doing now is they're hiding the flock cameras inside of different things. You may have seen some of these, a bunch of them popped up all over the place. They look like gas stations with like American decorations on them and eagles, and they're calling them freedom something, but they're really just, they're cleverly disguised flock cameras. So stay away, kids. Stay far away. Just kidding. But anyway, so yeah, they're doing that. So yeah, and y'all be careful out there. Don't be cutting down no flock cameras. Yeah, don't do that. It's bad. Don't do that. My goodness, these people. Thanks for having me, by the way.
There's allegedly a lot of precious metals in these electronic devices.
Like, I don't even know what anybody could use that information for, but that's good to know. Thanks.
Well, it helps with the price of precious metals, actually, because the demand in the real world is there. And so that is going to trump the speculation. You would think at some point, if we ever get to price discovery, a real market that's not all totally manipulated, we would actually see supply and demand and the little line on your graph cross. And that's a sweet point where we can increase the value due to real demand rather than speculation of precious metals out there in the market, Ruckus.
Oh, and also I heard a story. Some of these crazy people are taking these things that have the precious metals and stuff inside them and smashing them on the sides of roads and just leaving them there. So maybe we might just run into some of these parts laying on the side of the road and might have something valuable hidden inside. And just what a lucky day to stumble into something like that, right, Sam?
That would be a blessing. Indeed. All right, over to the... Yeah, there's been They what electrical boxes? All they're not just your straight flock cameras. They're undercovers. Birds aren't real. They're CIA drones, and on it goes. You got to be careful out there because it may not be just the straight up surveillance camera. It could be disguised as all kind of different things here now. Aardvark land disguises bombs as toys. So think of that. And remember the whole exploding pager debacle that went down. So they got many sneaky tricks up their sleeve. Be aware. Be aware. All right, over to Odysee. Shout out to the chat there. John, Pink, Highland. Thank you guys for tuning in and chatting it up. Let's see. Brave New World, is their effing plan announced? John said, yeah. Huxley, pretty damn close. And you go back and read that book, and then he drops a bunch of names in there that you may not have been aware of if you read that book in your youth. So you get a whole, like I'm saying, go back and read these books again, and you'll get a whole different take on it. I did when I went back and read these books for a second time, Brave New World and 1984. Let's see there. As an American, I report that what I see. Do you see the black mobs looting the stores in San Francisco? Not just jewelry, but drug stores, grocery stores, you name it. I have let's see here. Having a nice conversation there that I'd rather not. Yeah, Pink knows the guy, the stupid looks Maxer guy. I still don't know. Clavicler. How do you say his stupid name? All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in and chatting it up there on the Odysee. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in on X, Kick, Bitchute, Facebook, YouTube, or Rumble. Let's go to the chats over there. Shout out to the Rumble, Denver, Zio, Pamela. Let's see. Pamela says HBO series Billions lead Bobby Axelrod was based on Lutnick. Really? I didn't realize that. I did not realize that was based on Lutnick. Shout out to Snow on the YouTube. Let's see here. All it takes to have a fictionalized version of yourself is you murder everyone under at Cantor Fitzgerald. What hero to model our ethics from? Denver said. Well, yeah, nobody ever told me I should grow up and be like Howard Lutnick. They should have, because I missed the boat here, apparently. Zio says diarrhea outbreaks. That's redundant. Batman hates you, Ruckus. Zio said.
I don't get it.
Let's see. They say cancer is going to double. No wonder I get so many responses to my comments these days. Let's see. Rumble does lag, but clear cache and refresh usually fixes it, Pamela says. Snow says, I'm doing show work clipping, but here for the view count. We'll watch tomorrow. Thank you, Snow, for the view count increase there. Bardo says all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. A lot Animal Farm. Yeah. Ozempic penis impotent. Yee. That don't sound good.
I don't remember hearing about that one.
If that's true, Zio said that. That's yee. That's that may be the most scary of all the side effects out there, gentlemen. Just saying. Wowzers.
It says imminent, not impotent.
Oh, imminent.
I see what he's saying. Like, that's going to be the next one that we hear about.
Let's see. Department of Defense run by an unqualified clown wasting taxpayer money, Susan says on the YouTube. They're actors, right? They're literally all actors. They literally show you the freaking World Wrestling belt. Let's just pull that up one more time. I won't play the video, but literally Bobby Kennedy Jr. with these professional wrestlers, they're showing you. Look. It's literally KFAB professional wrestling. Trump's in the
the war theater, and then what is Trump's been saying the central casting line or something like that lately.
Been saying that a lot. He's like, this guy's right out of central casting, because he literally is right out of central casting.
They're like, this guy's a character. He's a real character. Yeah.
And it goes over everybody's head. Oh, that was cute, funny. No, they're telling you. They have to tell you. Revelation of the method. They think by some way, by telling you all their wrongdoings and how they're screwing you over backhandedly, that's going to ease their karmic debt, right? And so somehow they're not going to be responsible for all of their chicanery by backhandedly telling you. And they do it over and over and over. And it just goes right over the majority of the public's head because they laugh and think it's cute and funny with a child's mind. Get in the game, figure out what the message they're actually telling you is. We saw many memes over the years here now. Symbology will be their downfall, and I believe it will be, but you have to have eyes to see what their symbology means and ears to hear before that can actually happen. Shout out to Pat. He says, denial is the first symptom of TDS. I don't know what we're denying, but let's see here. A-Dub says, what up, Snow? They're talking amongst themselves. Broad says, the talk like no one else produces these. Let's see. Islam men love the boot hole. A-Dub says. Oh, Mac. Some lucky lady read a whole lot of Joel Simons today. I don't get the reference, but thank you. Oh, we got a $5. There you go. Shout out to A-Dub. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. $5 chat there. Let's see. Chantel says, that is straight up murder. There was no trial for those people, which makes it murder. We talked about genocide a little bit here, so yeah, you got to be more specific. But yeah, it's just basically all horrific murder. Let's see here. It is sad that we are truly the bad guys of the world, Chantel says. It is sad. It is sad. And we burned through all of our political capital that we earned for allegedly defeating the Nazis in World War II here now around the world as well. Long since burned through that political capital. Millet.
I don't want to. I just want to push back against what she said there. I don't think that we are the bad guys of the world, but we're we can confidently say that we're not what we've been led to believe, which is that we are the good guys of the world. That's fair to say. But there's a lot of terrible people and things.
All these governments, man, all of them.
Exactly. Yeah,
all of them. We just got the biggest guns, and we have the world reserve currency, which is really what's propping all this up. The dollar, and as long as we have the world's reserve currency and that buys the biggest guns, then we're going to be that big dog. But all these governments are completely and totally pure evil, and they would do the same thing when and if they could be the world's reserve currency and buy the biggest guns. Because again, at the very top level, they're all in these secret societies, all of them.
and besides, if we don't do it first, China will beat us to it.
China would do it, and then China says the same thing about us to their people, and that's how it rolls. The dialectic for the sheeple, and we just eat it up. We're sheep eating mutton, basically, here at this point. Effing Aardvarks, A-Dub says, yeah. Like literally every show is. You don't even have to be critical of them, Rucka. You can just do a show about their own statements, and people will be shocked and disturbed and just what? You know what I mean? Just show Smotrick, Ben Gavir, Katz, and old Millet. Just do shows of their public statements, and you'll just be what? You know what I mean? It's like wow.
And you'll get banned too.
You'll get banned for just reporting on what they're publicly saying. Yeah, you probably would. All right, American on the YouTube says, God bless you in Jesus' name. Also, may God give you wisdom and discernment. We must stop accepting the lose. I think they mean lies. Well, thank you. God bless you too. And let's pray for peace here as well. And we saw from that hopefully that Palestinian Christian Reverend Isaac, hopefully his message can get through to some of these brain dead Christian Zionists here in America, because what they got going on ain't it. All right. It ain't it. All right. Any final words, Ruckus? And we'll wrap up this Thursday edition of Weaponized News.
Make sure to come check us all out doing Boiler Room probably tomorrow evening. Check alternatecurrentradio.com for more info about that.
All right. Check out Ruckus on the Boiler Room tomorrow with that crew. They're going to do a great breakdown, I'm sure, as always. And as always here, everybody do your own research. Peace, love, and freedom. Speak out and take action. Have a great rest of your Thursday evening. And we'll be back here on Friday for more Weaponized News. Let's pray for peace.